After a great winter's day, perfect to go for some early evening skating here in Saskatoon. It happened 8 years ago, right here in Saskatoon.
The biggest shot of Mark Dacey's career. They have to get a piece of the board. 3 rushes working frantically. It looks good. He's got it.
Mark Dacey's Blue Nosers pulled off a shocker, winning the 2004 Brier. This year, another Team Nova Scotia has shocked everyone, and with all the big names around them, rookie skip Jamie Murphy is tied for the top of the standings. At 3-0, Nova Scotia has easily handled the competition, but now a close provincial neighbor will try and put a dent in Murphy's perfect record. Draw 5, the Brier. It's next. It's day 2 of the Tim Hortons Brier here in Saskatoon, and our first day of 3-draw coverage. Now this afternoon, our featured game was Brad Gushue, Newfoundland and Labrador, as he played Ontario. And Gushue was coming in having lost his first 2, and then in the 9th, really in a game that he controlled against Glenn Howard. In the 9th, he got a little tight, he needed to hit and stick, and look what happens. Too thin, rose too far, resulted in a steal of 2 for Ontario. It went to an extra, and Ontario would pick up the win, handing him, Gushue, a 3rd straight loss. Elsewhere, British Columbia goes to an extra. They win their first, handing Saskatchewan also their first loss. It was Jamie Cooey from way up in Yellowknife who picked up a 3-point win over Northern Ontario, and Alberta, Kevin Cooey, the 2010 champion, he wins over Quebec. So top of the table, yeah, there they are. Nova Scotia along with Alberta, Ontario at 2-0. And as you look on the bottom side, you have to be surprised at Newfoundland and Labrador at 0-3. As on this Sunday evening, we say hello, Canada, and welcome back to our continuing coverage. Tim Hortons Brier, Linda Russ alongside. So we talked earlier today about the standings, managing your losses, not getting too many too soon. Well, now you've got somebody in Nova Scotia that has the possibility of winning their first 4. Can you imagine that? Well, that then would allow you to have some bumps in the road down the way.
Well, we look at that. We like to look at schedules and records, but I guarantee you that the very good Nova Scotia coach, Helen Radford, has not talked about that at all. Her focus with this rookie team is all about making shots, 1 shot at a time, 1 game at a time. That's why they're sitting with such a good record of 3-0. The other really nice thing about this rookie team is the skip is playing so well. He started out well. You think maybe a little nervous. Well, had good numbers in the first game, and every game after that, the numbers have bumped up. What a great thing for this team, and if they stay focused, they have a great chance tonight. All
right, so now you've got New Brunswick. They've lost their first 3. You can feel a little sorry for the team from Moncton, because a break here or there, they might be 2-1 or even 3-0.
You could make a case that they're the favorites in this game, Vic. Nova Scotia beat 3 teams actually that are under 500 at this point in time. Terry's played 3 tough teams and played them tough, 3 close games, but his percentage is very low, and he has to make it a little less complicated. His shots are so hard. He loves those angle raises, but you just can't go to the bank with them. He has to simplify the sport.
So it is an all-maritime battle. The Blue Nosers will try and keep their Blue Noses out in front.
First time around, it's going to be an experience. Don't really know what exactly to expect.
Another win for Nova Scotia.
We've kind of just been trying to stay in our own routine, similar to how we did in preparing for the tanker.
And who would have thought they'd be 3-0?
We're happy that all the hard work has finally paid off.
The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Roll Up the Rim to Win. It's time for Tim's. The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Ford, official automotive partner of the Canadian Curling Association, by M&M Meat Shops, hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle, and by Cashmere Bathroom Tissue. Nothing feels like cashmere.
Sunday night, and it is Draw 5. Here are all the games on the ice. Well, Jamie Cooey, coming off a win, tries to knock off Ontario, and Glenn Howard, who won his first two. New Brunswick, Nova Scotia is our feature. That's on sheet B. On sheet C, Prince Edward Island, a must-win here for Mike Goody at 0-3, and Rob Fowler lost his first, but has rebounded. He's found his draw weight, won 2 in a row. And Saskatchewan, this is a big game to my way of thinking for Saskatchewan and their skip, Scott Manners, coming off a loss against Quebec, also losing earlier today, Robert Desjardins. And so it is. New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. Time to meet the teams now. It's brought to you by Ford. Drive one.
Hi, I'm Terry Odishaw, skip of New Brunswick. Curling lead is Grant Odishaw. Second is Scott Jones. Third is Andy McCann. Curl out of Curl Moncton in Moncton.
Hi, I'm Jamie Murphy, skip of Team Nova Scotia. Our lead is Donald McDermott. Our second is Mike Bardsley. Our third is Jordan Pinder, and we play with the CFB Halifax Curling Club in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
New Brunswick has won the draw to the button, so they will have the last rock. They'll have the hammer playing the Redstones here in this opening end. Nova Scotia and this rookie skip, Jamie Murphy from CFB Halifax, moves out and puts the brush down for his lead, Donald McDermott. Interesting, they were watching on the big screen overhead their own introductions, and this, of course, Linda, is all new to them, and this is maybe the Y factor coming in here, handling this kind of not pressure but focus.
It started with the first time they were here and getting used to the building, all the people and the lights and everything involved in a major stage that they are playing on now. And you're right, this is the next challenge. Being on television, all the focus is on them now, and they have to perform without thinking about that, and that's the tough part.
Just a 2, Andy.
Right to here, guys.
Just a 2. Or else you know Grant very well.
That's good.
And Terry. Of course, Terry, the skip was an alternate for you, but Grant actually threw stones for you, right?
Forever. We played more than a decade together. Grant's just a wonderful team player. One of the best leads, well, the best lead ever out of our province. Did well in the mix. Won the Canadian mixed as a skip, actually. So did Terry in separate instances. But he's made a career out of playing lead once I moved down to the province, and does a great job. Loves the sport. Throws a million rocks a day. Real trooper.
Hard line! Hard line! Where is it?
First stone in, corner guard goes up, trying to come back to the middle now. That first stone is just top of the house.
Whoa, whoa.
Will sit as a guard.
Terry will be pure offense. There's no, certainly with the first 4 or 5 rocks, if he gets into trouble, he sometimes bails. But he really wants to put pressure on these top teams. It's a good approach. He's not afraid to lose by 10. He's trying to put as much pressure as he can on these great players to create some mistakes. But it's caused more mistakes for New Brunswick so far this week.
Wolf, you can. Wolf, you can.
We can.
Wolf, you can.
4 foot on its own.
Yeah,
we're there. We're there.
Yep. Yep. Hard. Yep. Hard.
Well, look at that. Comes right around with his lead stone. Of course, they do have the last rock, New Brunswick. Maybe what Russ is saying is part of their game plan.
It is part of the game plan for New Brunswick. They like rocks in play. In my opinion, sometimes they need to simplify and leave room for scoring. They've had the hammer 14 times so far. Only twice have they scored multiple ends, and they've given up 6 steals. You can't do that.
Mike Bardsley throwing the second stones.
But, you know, Nova Scotia, we're saying rookies, sometimes you watch the opposition a little too much. They can't get tempted to go along with those complicated ends. Nova Scotia have done a wonderful job of the push and pull. A little more aggressive with hammer, pull back without. They have to continue with that and not watch the very complicated ends that might start to get established by their opposition.
Lots.
Well then.
It's not that great.
Back. We got a T-line. T-line plus.
It's coming down.
Whoa.
Coming down.
Whoa.
Hard, guys.
Let it curl.
It'll keep going. Go.
Hard.
You saw that we just showed that he was 13th. That's because we've had some spares go into the game, and that dropped him down. So some of these players have struggled. We have to say the numbers are quite low. The nice thing is, if you're a positive thinker, there is time to turn it around.
See Jamie taking a look at this. That yellow-red is kind of queued up on the one that Scott just buried. And I think if they hit this hard enough in the right spot, both reds could fly, and the top red out of the rings could shoot across to the button and maybe even get to the shot rock. Got to throw it hard, though.
Yep. Whoa. Yep.
Ooh,
Good.
stuck it.
That's
Had
good,
to
Mike.
get it much thicker than that to keep the angle. That dragged a little bit. An early opportunity for New Brunswick.
Half hours out of the way, be off the yard.
Yeah.
He's probably going to do that.
Or this.
That's what I was thinking, Terry. Even if I clip the yellow one.
You like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I like it. You think I need a hair more with this 8?
I don't know yet.
Speed was good in practice. Speed was good for that.
They're going to come in and play a little tap. Now, they have to start watching,
Back
they
line.
being New Brunswick,
seems like
the
a line.
angles that we'll set up here. There is a Yellowstone second shot, top of the 8-foot area.
Close.
You want to
Weight's
leave an
okay,
easy
maybe
run
a
back
little
or
hot.
an easy double.
Yeah.
Back line.
Hard.
Hard guys to get this by.
No, just a little rub and roll and then over on top.
Off that.
It's not bad.
41 split on that.
Slow rock, eh?
Yeah.
It's not the first time we've heard that today over on
Hit and roll over the
Sheet
top.
D, where we were earlier today with Ontario, Newfoundland, Labrador. We heard slow rock many times.
So if you're watching at home, keep an eye on that one. Scott Jones's first stone. Let's call it the 3 rock. The
Yeah,
third
I'm
one.
not sure you get that
I
out.
guess it's the fourth one thrown. It must be a second one. Sorry. Has to be slower. They got a 341 split, and that should have put it in the hack.
For Jordan, he doesn't have to make these all go away. You just need to make sure you get rock positioning once you're finished.
All right, guys. Hard. Oh.
I thought they might play the hit and roll in front. They were
that-
going for the double.
Made way more sense, didn't it?
Okay.
Double was tough. You had to hit it very thin.
This was even better than I thought.
All right, we have to make a play on it now, eh? Half a stone with board.
Let them make a play on it.
Yeah.
And it's a short double.
So just throw an in-turn draw.
Even back here. Do that or go here.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think there was much thrown over on this side in the whole entire practice.
Just T-line. Just
New
like you
Brunswick's
draw
just
the
sitting
button in.
one,
Yeah.
so the plan here, the reason they're going to the open side is they're hoping the opposition makes the mistake, maybe tries the run back with that yellow one and maybe peels it out by mistake.
And as Grant said, even if they make it, it's a short double for New
bad,
Brunswick
actually,
later.
now.
And smart call from the veteran.
Yeah, lots of
So
room.
this isn't like them. This
Prefer
is the
top
spreading out of
12.
stones, leaving themselves room. So maybe had a little
Right about here
rethink
would
of
be
the plan.
One of the unique things about this year's Brier is the fact that we had 2
That's good.
female coaches. Kay Montgomery coaches Saskatchewan. And this lady, Helen Radford, former Scotties representative for Nova Scotia, is coaching Jamie Murphy.
Well, Helen's role on this team is to kind of keep us in line and keep us on track. I think from a strategy perspective, we're pretty good on our own. But she's been very good with, keeping the schedule together and kind of telling us what to expect when and taking care of a lot of the, managing type of things on the team. So it's been, she's an important part of the team for sure.
Jordan Pinder backs it up, makes the double, sits top 12. Remembering now, New Brunswick does have last rock. Kathy Gauthier, unique that Well, no, we always have you here on the evening draw. So how are you?
I'm great, thanks. You know, interesting Jamie's comments about Helen. She said that when she was asked to join the team 3 years ago, they were doing what a lot of competitive teams do, which is overplay and not train enough. So they've switched the schedule. They train much harder. They develop game plans, end plans, situational plans, so the focus is much clearer. And at that practice, they are the unique team, she feels, of anyone that she's coached, in that they practice how they play. That means with intensity. The other thing she did for them is she created, through Curl Atlantic, a Bonspiel and Sackville, New Brunswick this year in an arena to simulate the kinds of conditions that they would play here. It is the transitional plan that she put in front of them that has made this first debut at the Brier not so painless. They're 3-0.
Great start for them, and great start for Jamie Murphy, who beat Mark Dacey, the winner here in 2004. And it was a couple of days later, after everything had settled and wounds maybe healed a little bit, that in fact Dacey did call Jamie Murphy to give him a sense of what he'd expect. Now, you mentioned that Bonspiel. Well, Jamie Barassa is one of the ice makers here. You see Hans Vutrick on the left, the head ice technician. Jamie Barassa made that ice in Sackville.
That's a couple of really important points, trying to get them to train. I know we love to compete as curlers, but you have to train the systems that you want in place, and they've done that so well. And you're right, Vic, playing on that simulated ice, getting used to it is very important.
It was a brilliant move for Eastern Canada to have all the top teams go to that event. I played in it myself. Jamie made the ice so similar to this, it's not funny, and that has definitely benefited the Nova Scotia team, no question about it.
Because we've heard from different skips who ordinarily would play on straighter ice at their clubs or at Bonspiel's, say, and primarily we're talking about Eastern Canada.
Not a whole lot of room, though.
And the Maritimes.
Oh, yeah.
They've said we should know it, we watch it, we know there's going to be curl, but I guess until you experience it, it's just, you just never think it's going to be that bad. Or when I say that bad, so much curl.
It's faster than you imagine. It's quicker underfoot. You get to the hog line in a hurry. You have to put more rotation on than you expect. It's not until you're here that you figure that out. And that was a wonderful learning curve in Sackville.
Now there's the numbers that Russ was talking about. Very low amongst the last rock throwers, but he's had a lot of very difficult shots. This end is a little simpler, and a very nice hit.
That's good.
New Brunswick playing the Redstones does have the last rock here in the first, and they are sitting 2.
Got no double. Not an easy one.
Had to get my wobbles under control before letting go.
Yeah, Terry is one of those guys that he's
I'm worried with the jam.
He's more of an artist than a technician.
Hit that there. I don't really want to put a hit and roll because I could stick it on, like, have a double for 3.
Jamie would love to come down. His easiest out is to hit this one and roll in behind, but if it jams on that yellow, it could redirect back here, and the red could stay, and it could be a potential 3. So it has to be really careful.
I feel like I like the intern.
Interesting, Linda. That is, again, you know, you look for the differences between somebody who is a moderately good club curler and the elite curler.
I don't want to
and
roll under. I might jam it on the back.
Seeing the entire house. I wouldn't have thought of what Russ just pointed out. If he makes that hit, it coming back and jamming. And the club curler at home probably wouldn't have seen it either. But that is the difference. And those little things that the elite curler sees automatically.
But it's interesting in every sport because you have to go from wide focus, Vic, to see the whole picture to narrow focus to throw. And I think sometimes the club curler is always on the narrow focus. It works for throwing, not for calling the game.
Normal. That's okay.
We're going to have another look at this. And going back to the other shot.
Throw normal.
Be careful here. As we pointed out, a little on the broom side, you could jam it also. You might be just trying to hit it dead on, maybe roll an inch or two to become shot rock. As long as it doesn't over curl and hits maybe half, I don't think it will double jam.
He's a native of Fredericton, New Brunswick. He represented New Brunswick at a couple of Canadian juniors, but now represents Nova Scotia out of CFB Halifax. And he avoids the jam at the back, rolls in, and looks like he does have shot stone for the moment.
It was a tougher shot than it looked. As we pointed out, he hits half a rock, he jams it. He hits a little on the high side, he jams it. So didn't bury it, but also did a good job.
Well, the point is, if it's a nose hit by your opposition who have hammer, they don't get the second point. So that's why he took the little risk. Just have to hit this a tiny bit on the inside. Nose might do it. Here's a look at that house, though. It's a very different looking house than we've seen many times when New Brunswick has had the hammer. This is the way they should play it.
Final stone for New Brunswick, and Terry Odishaw in his second Brier appearance. First was way back 1998. And he'll get the inside roll. Very nice. And 2 it is. New Brunswick's on the board. Good start for Odishaw out of Curl Moncton. So here we go. Let's get you caught up on early play here on a Sunday night. Draw number 5. And Kathy, let's start with Manitoba against PEI. And Manitoba lost their first. But then last night you said Mr. Fowler got his mojo back. Well, he actually said he got his draw back.
Well, he did, and on this shot, he's trying to get to the inside. Mike Goody just rubbed off. It's that center stone that he made on his last one. Tried to get to the inside, not done, but he got the deuce.
He got the deuce against PEI, so it is Fowler leading Mike Goody from Charlottetown. Over on sheet D, Saskatchewan. I thought this might be an important game for Scott Manners from Battleford because he had lost his first earlier today, also playing Quebec. And Robert Desjardins from Chicoutimi, he also lost his first.
Well, and he needs a big draw here. He needs to be full 8 foot, almost to the 4 foot. He's drawing against 2 here.
Steve Villeneuve and Stephen Monroe on the brush.
And they waited all the way. It wasn't until the end that they went very hard.
Jean-Sebastien Roy out, and not quite enough. That stone tee line at around 3 o'clock. That's their shot stone. Steal 1 for Saskatchewan. And over on the other side of the Credit Union Center, Northwest Territories, Ontario. And they blank the first, and Ontario does have the last rock there. Glenn Howard trying to win his 3rd straight, and tonight it is Glenn's son Scott who is playing the lead. Craig Saville is sitting as we welcome you back. New Brunswick playing a very almost simple, conservative kind of end to take 2. And so here in the second, Nova Scotia has the last rock playing the Yellowstone.
No tap.
Yeah, you might want to see that again from New Brunswick. That just seemed easy. A nice deuce, good hit and stay by Terry in a tricky little spot, and much less complicated than we've seen in the first 3 games.
First stone was in, corner guard, center guard, and there's the very nice freeze by Nova Scotia. We said tonight would be challenging for Jamie Murphy after coming off those 3 wins, playing now on television. So the challenge now to rebound after giving up the deuce in the first end. And this is where sometimes, we talked about with hammer, but sometimes this is where Terry does get very complicated with a lot of guards.
Whoa.
Like, yeah, we're bumping. We're past it for sure.
Yep, go by it then.
Plan B here. Not the spot you want to be. Short would make so much more sense.
60.
Scott Jones, we talked about his numbers coming in being quite low. And that's the thing. Front-end players in particular have to hit the range. It can be short. As I said, actually, they often play guards in that situation, so that wouldn't be that uncommon for them. This allows Nova Scotia way in.
Line's perfect.
You have to remember, too, I think we figure Scott has a slow one with his next rock, so that would make it easy to overthrow the quicker rock.
Gotta go! Gotta go hard, Jordan, hard! Gotta go!
Trying to keep them lined up. Pretty good effort.
I often talk about hack-end support, and I think in particular where a player is trying to work with two unmatched stones. It's not wrong to come into a system where you remind the player of the stone and the speed, because quite often the focus is outcome-based. I want to throw it into the house. But you have to go back to, what am I working with? I have brushing, I have a stone that does this. How are we going to manage this to get it in the right spot? Use all four players and remind yourselves about things like stone issues.
Just tight. Hard now. Yep. Hard now.
A little more.
Go, go, hard. Go, go, go.
Keep an eye on this as the game goes along. That's twice short with that one. Jamie could play the run back here if he hits this in the right spot, and the red comes in and hits exactly where that broom is. Might be able to save both yellows.
Scott Jones, one of the 2-3 players that wears a baseball cap or any kind of headgear. And just spills a little too far. Shot stone, though, remains Nova Scotia. Top edge of the four.
Not bad. Just a hair around the yellow, eh, Grant?
Is that enough ice, Andy? Same as draw to the button. Yeah, that's
right
enough.
there. Okay. Even with the yellow.
Okay.
That's heavy.
62. T-line.
A lot of weight here.
T-line.
Whoa, then. Don't want to at all.
Andy McCann is from Oromocto.
Yeah.
What curling club is in Oromocto?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
The Gauge?
The Gauge,
Yes,
that's
the
right.
Gauge Curling Club.
You have a membership there, don't you? From all their mentions. Life member, I think.
Yep.
James Grattan plays out of there. We've seen a lot of him, and Andrew Kelly plays out of there, so we've seen a lot. So.
Well, rock positioning this end is not what was asked for, and it's been a series of mistakes now that have been made, but still room for Nova Scotia to get to the forefoot.
It's good. No, you don't. It's got to go.
Those are the other things we talk about, and you cannot make excuses for the two Maritime teams. They've, like you say, they've watched it on TV, they've played in some spiels, and they need to play in more spiels with ice this fast, but that's what tends to happen. They glide that extra 4 feet, 3 feet, and they just get you into trouble every time.
Hi, boy. Shot.
Well, we mentioned that Jamie Murphy did beat Mark Dacey in the final. Dacey winning here in 2004. It could have been an all-Dacey representation at the Nationals. Heather Smith-Dacey, of course, out of CFB Halifax. Represented Nova Scotia at the Scotties.
Whoa!
Double raise double.
Wow.
Good shot.
Take this one, yeah.
Nice throw, buddy.
Very nice play on this, but it's interesting how many times we talk about putting your rocks side by side in the house.
Yeah.
I know it still isn't easy because he was making contact with two stones to raise in, but that surface area had grown so much by drawing beside your own rock.
Kind of framed it, didn't it? Yeah. One thing Andy will do too, he's very good at, he used to curl with my son for years, so he will not overthrow those. Even though it was a run back, he's moving 4 chunks of granite, he still threw the normal weight. He didn't overcook that. Tough little shot here. Jordan would like to get to the inside of this guard. Have to squeak that center guard pretty tight.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa! Whoa! Hip! Whoa! Oh! Off it.
Shot.
Oh, beauty.
Wow.
Wow is right.
Well, the other evening, Kathy, Russ described a lot of stones as if someone had dumped a front-end loader. And there are a bunch here. Final rock on the way. Glenn Howard.
Well, Glenn made it tough on himself. He came deep on the other side of the house on his first. Jamie Cooley parked it right on top for shot. Needs to tap his sideways.
And he makes it. Very nice for the single. Ontario has the lead.
Oh, yeah, 62. I thought it was going deeper than that.
They're trading them here. Very nicely played with that combination at the back of the 8'1", slightly higher than the other. That's why they got that to roll off so easily to the side.
Whoa! Park!
Terry Odishaw.
Whoa! 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 Andy.
Whoa. Shooter rolls over, almost on the corner.
Nice effort. Puts them together now. If Jamie Murphy can't roll away, there will be a double.
That's exactly what he said. Coming down to his front end, puts them together. Some people considered the final an upset with Terry taking out James Grattan, defending champion 10-3 in their final. Boy, when you think about it, you played with James, you've played with Mark Lecoq. Is there anybody down there?
At such a young age, how did I do all that?
Is there anybody you haven't played with?
I don't think so. You look over at the next sheet, you get Glenn and Wayne. And
they all went to the Russ Howard School. It's paid off.
Trying to roll a bit here without rolling out.
Left it too long.
And they will.
Boy, does that change things around now.
Really curled.
Terry can be aggressive.
Instead of looking at a rock at least one in the house, he can draw to sit two.
What do you think for Terry? 60?
Yeah, soft.
Depends on the slide, I guess, eh?
Yeah.
It's pretty quick here, eh?
It's like
I
practice.
just overthrew it. It's not.
Like practice.
It's probably a little faster than that.
Maybe
It's a really good.
Well, Saskatchewan opened with a steal of 1 in the first, Kathy, and that yellow stone, top of the button, that belongs to Quebec. And Robert Desjardins, and does he have a draw here for a possible 2?
He does indeed. That red stone biting the top of the 4-foot. The final stone thrown by Scott Manners just a little bit short. And so he needs full 4.
As we watch the final stone of this second for New Brunswick skip, Terry Odishaw.
It's nice.
Whoa, Andy.
Hey, you're good.
Whoa, Andy.
Stuff else.
Good.
Whoa.
I'm good.
Whoa, guys.
Ligger på line. Yep, line.
Let it finish, Andy. Let it finish.
Line.
Well, he needs to throw less. Rabez's first one went deep in the house, so you think he would throw a little bit less, but he's gone way further outside, Vic.
And he won't get it there, so missed opportunity for Quebec. They'll settle for the single to tie it at 1.
Steve.
Nice draw by Terry. Puts a top button. It'll have to be moved for the opposition to score.
Scott was saying same as practice.
85 is probably your tee time.
This house looks so empty now. We have to remember some very nice shots have been played in this end. Run backs, doubles. The biggest mistake, Jamie on his first.
Can't be too cute around this guard either. You cannot wrap.
Final stone, and they picked him up here. There is that center line guard, and it's diving at it now. McDermott and Bardsley. It is a huge scrub. Huge scrub. Get it by, and they cannot. Now trying to spin it in to avoid giving up the steal. Oh, good call by Pinder to see that. Had it spun out, it would have been a steal of 2. It results in a steal of 1, and New Brunswick's up 3-0. Sunday night, our first Sunday night, first day of all-day play, 3 draws, and so this is draw 5 of the Tim Hortons Brier. New Brunswick picks up the steal on the crash on the guard, but I thought it was I right? And Nova Scotia third Jordan Pinder to pick up that stone to try and bring it in just in case. Getting a possible steal too.
Definitely. That's why they brushed it so hard. You often see people get discouraged and give up on those rocks, but you had to try and get something out of it. It was not a good throw. They knew right away that Jamie was inside, so they got the best they could out of it.
Yeah, that's a huge extra point when you're down 3. 4's a lot.
So it is New Brunswick leading 3-0, looking to win their first. And here in the third, Nova Scotia does have the last rock. They have the hammer one more time, playing the Yellowstones.
Hard! Quick!
Looking for the hit and roll. You need to save the shooter. Trying to play it quietly.
Hip! Whoa! 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 Hard! Hard! Regular.
Whatever you like.
It's a pretty easy run back, but I'd be tempted to get rid of that corner guard. That's there for a reason. 3 points down. Nova Scotia's later in the end going to try to get around that and force a mistake out of New Brunswick.
I think that's what a lot of people forget, that the play in the middle by the team with the hammer is in the hopes that eventually things will get cleared out and you can use that corner.
Boy, Scott.
So what they did is try and roll into that path and block it off that way. But that corner guard is the key to the team with hammer scoring.
Clean!
Close.
Clean it!
Whoa!
Oh!
Whoa! Ah!
Roll.
Okay. Got it.
So you can see the rock is at least creeping up the house a little bit. New Brunswick was to roll away to the other side, as he's indicating there. There might be room to come around that guard and the one in the house.
Yep! Gotta go, guys. Gotta go! Hard! Hey!
Might be enough room there to throw it hard enough, hit it 3/4 of a rock to punch that second red out of the way. Need peel weight here for sure. It's a thick double.
When you're throwing big weight and you take very tight ice, any little outward motion and you're going to get a nose hit.
Catcher and everything.
That beak at that double.
Oh, I had a catcher.
I think I'd rather hit this.
He just comes around then, doesn't he?
About nose.
I don't really like staggering them. Yeah.
Okay. Just throw board.
Okay.
No, throw control.
Okay.
Control.
This is where there's a different mindset from all these years of playing in straight ice that Terry's used to. He's thinking if he rolls over Barry there, it stops that run back, and not even thinking that the opponent will loop one right around that corner guard, even though that rock's in the rings, because you cannot do that on a lot of ice surfaces. But you sure can here, and I think Andy made a good call there.
It's not bad.
Okay.
Double should bounce out of the rings.
His nose out of his hand. There's no saving it.
Didn't know it.
You could go in now if you wanted.
like that. What do you like? Well, I don't love that rock there.
That's the two options we're looking at. If you do draw around the one top 12, it is, of course, an opposition rock, and you just heard Jamie say he doesn't like doing that.
Board.
He wants to hit.
Board.
Tough double. They've decided to throw board weight to try to save it because he has to hit this incredibly thin to stick it on that back one.
You don't want to panic if you're down 3, but you do hate playing so many hits when you've had some chances to get rocks set up.
All right, guys. Gotta go! All right, guys. Oh. Yep. Okay. Okay, bud. Let's get rid of it. Could go there. He's definitely going there, so we either got to take this off or go here.
What do you guys like?
I like the hit and roll off that yellow one.
I like half around.
Yeah, half around.
Then we got to go this way. Whatever you like.
Whatever. I can't hear you.
I like this.
Okay.
Go the other way.
So the skipper has the final word as we check in on Ontario against the Northwest Territories Yukon. Ontario leading 1-0 and sitting two, Kathy.
He is indeed. There was about 6 attempts to hit and roll behind those guards. Finally, Glenn rolled, but he rolled into the open, and that is the stone that Jamie is trying to remove and to stick for the single.
Jamie, oh goodness. Jamie Cooey, and the shooter will spin too far. So that's the stone there. The yellow is a steal of one more. Ontario leads it 2-0.
We talked about this earlier that Terry wasn't too worried that he'd leave a come around. He played the choice to peel that front dangerous rock. Good point. But this does give a free chance for Jordan, and is Will Barry if the speed's good.
It's taken a long time for them to open up the path. But they do have the opportunity now to use that guard.
Gotta bury it. T. Yep. Go, Mike. Yep. Hard, Mike.
There it goes.
Hard, go, Mike. Come on, hard, right back. Hard, Mike. Go, hard. Right back. You gotta go. You gotta go.
To the back 8. To me, it didn't have the kind of finish that we've seen.
Yeah, I thought it could have gotten by the guard a little bit tighter, Vic, but yeah, I agree with that. Terry can see a good piece of this. It wasn't all that heavy. It didn't cut over quite as much as I thought.
We have to remember we're on an inside sheet for this game. It's also third draw of the day for the first time, and sometimes we see some changes. They have enough time between games to maintain the ice, to scrape it and prepare it, but you see some changes often by the last draw of the day.
I tell you this evening,
You gotta hold it for a while. Okay.
the building to me is very warm.
It is warmer.
Kathy, I know you're not too far away from us, but where we're sitting, it's very warm.
It is certainly warmer in here. I talked to Hans before the game, and because of the extra ends, they only had 10 minutes to open the doors, which is how they cool the building. They were only able to bring it down 2 degrees, so it's starting much warmer than it has yet.
Yep, roll it, Eddie. Yep.
Good.
Yeah, he saw enough of it, didn't he?
Certainly did.
Shot there.
Whoa.
Good shot.
Yeah, so right around the sixth end or so, we should feel some kind of draft, because somehow they're doing something, and we felt it yesterday.
Such a bouncing act for the ice makers. We got two of the very best here with Hans Vutrick and Jamie Barassa. And they were telling me before the game, Vic, that they're nipping the ice with the Ice King scraper a little bit thinner than normal. And then that leaves a little extra pebble. Then they're actually rocking it like they used to do in the old days to keep the rocks from curling too much.
And rocking it means they have a wooden frame that drags the stones down the ice to simulate some play, to take the pebble down a little bit. Good move by Jamie. We heard the roar of the crowd, so he resets.
Whoa! Control! Clean. Close! Whoa! Whoa! Close, yeah! Hard! 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 Hard!
Oh, that was a big whoa, and then it rolls out. So a big mistake made, either on the reading of the ice or just not communicating the weight.
No, it's just, there's more curl out here tonight, and it's just, I'm over curling everything.
It's very nice.
Yeah.
I heard the question from the front end, was that 5 rock cutting a little more because he did the exact same thing last end.
Right.
Chance to sit 2, over curled, jammed it, and gave up an actual steal eventually.
I gave you there. I gave you about there.
Right there, right? That area.
So you were probably there. Throwing a draw yet, hasn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
Well, that's now 2 stones that Jamie Murphy has not thrown well. He struggled with the one that crashed in the last end to get the steal one. And here again, is there something particular
12.
he's doing or not doing?
I don't think he's thrown a draw yet.
Well, I thought in the last end, Vic, he looked a little bit like he aimed it, and that's what you see under pressure rather
That's
than
tightness.
freely releasing. The pressure, the tension that is caused means you aim it a little bit. But certainly if you combine that with not taking enough ice, you're going to have the problem he's had, which is a rollout and wrecking on a guard.
As we say, this is a, said earlier, this is the first time he's in the spotlight here.
Pretty deep here.
Looks heavy.
Whoa.
You know, sometimes you can hide among the other games on the ice, but not tonight. He is under the focus of our cameras and
We're deep, Grant.
a lot of the people here.
Oh, we don't.
Well,
Then make a move it then. Okay.
But full credit to Terry Odishaw, New Brunswick. Russ, the way they've played this one.
Yeah, and again,
That was the second shot.
played 3 great teams that they took Ontario to an extra in, or to the 10th end tied. They
Hi, Mark. Hi, Nicole. Hi,
missed a
everyone.
draw. He said it
Carol
picked in
Moncton.
his hand against Alberta, or they would have been tied playing 9. And they had a great game with Manitoba. A big steal in the 9th end broke that one open. So they, you know, even though they're 0-3, they could sit back in the dressing room and go, wait a minute, you know, we fought hard, and they keep doing what they're doing. Somebody's going to do them a favor.
Well, facing 2 with his last. Building's alive again tonight, of course. Saskatchewan's on the ice. This has got to come over for him. And it comes up to bang it on the beak and sit there. T-line, 4 foot. Single point for Nova Scotia, and they are on the board. So let's show you what the cheering was about. That's on sheet D, and Saskatchewan against Quebec. Kathy.
Well, he's got a draw for 2, but the key shot was on his first one. He could only see about a quarter of his. He, through big weight, moved it sideways to remove the Quebec shot stone. Quebec not successful with the run back, so it is a draw for 2 here.
Shot stone presently is top of the 4 foot. Scott Manners and the Saskatchewan champions out of Battleford.
Right on the tee.
That's good.
Oh yeah, the cowbells. You can hear them here in Saskatoon.
Good job, boys.
We are all looking forward to next January and the Dominion All-Star Curling Skins game. A brand new qualifying format, and it's you across the country who will determine who will play. You will vote on your favorite curlers at tsn.ca. So the top 4 skips will then select the remaining 12 players by random. We'll have that for you, a televised draw, January the 17th. Go to tsn.ca/skins game for more details, and the voting should start. Don't hold me to it. Next November and December. They'll be playing for $100,000 in total prize money. So Nova Scotia makes the hit and stick for 1 in the 3rd. New Brunswick will have the last rock back. Here in 4 playing the Redstones, and they lead at 3-1.
This is one of those pivotal ends. You haven't had a chance, really, if you're Nova Scotia last end to get something going. You played hits. And now you have to make a big decision, and Jamie's decision is to put a couple of front stones in place. He has a little benefit. The first come around for New Brunswick is way at the back of the 12 foot. So he's going to try and force some better shots out of Terry Odishaw and the team.
Not a great effort, though, with that first guard. It's almost a corner, and it's so long, it might not be a hazard at all for New Brunswick.
72. Wait's pretty good.
Wait as long as you can.
Grant Odishaw said to you yesterday how infrequently we see the second guard go up because it's a race primarily to the button.
Hard, guys!
Are you a little surprised that, in fact, Nova Scotia did put up that second guard?
Yeah, it's very rare at this time of the game. They're only down 2. They don't. Linda says don't have to press the panic button here, but I think it's because the first one was so bad. It's not really helping them, so they're really trying to force the issue here. It's a dangerous play. Here we go now. You're playing a run back against 2.
Now, technically, if you start to put the 2 guards up, you're trying to be very aggressive. You actually might come around, you might tap it. If you make the run back and instead peel it off, then you're really leaving a good chance for New Brunswick to score multiple points.
Soft weight here.
And too soft. Over curls, runs the stone by. And then that shooter rolls over. And they're staggered now. Those guards just out in front, covering the edge of the 4-foot.
Pretty complicated. You can set up the double and roll maybe, but all right, let's make it.
Conventional wisdom, you might make a move on those guards out front with a 2-point lead and a hammer, but that's not Terry's style. He will go for the juggler here.
Lots of room. Wait's good. Room. Lots of room.
Those stones could be very beneficial to Nova Scotia to try and get something in behind cover, maybe take the end away.
Don't want to yet. Whoa.
Go when you want to then.
Easy,
right
Andy.
here.
Easy, Andy.
Whoa, whoa.
Easy, Andy.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Okay.
It's almost coming downhill. It won't stop.
Yeah, see, they can't figure it out. Scott can't believe how far it went. Andy overswept it.
Same weight's pretty good.
The only one that had an idea on that one was Grant, and he couldn't get anybody to listen to him. And it's again, it sounds like an excuse, but it's just you have to play in these surfaces more often. And anybody that's doesn't play in this type of surface, I really suggest you get out and do that as much as you possibly can.
Whoa! Yep. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Off it, off it, off it, off it, off it, off it, off, off. Go, Jamie.
I like to roll just an inch. Okay. Control, forward. Control.
It's hard when you're watching ends like this. You see Jamie Murphy, he's trying to prevent the scoring, limit it to just one, but this could be trouble, this next one.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Looks like Jamie Cooey from Yellowknife. Kathy has a chance to get a couple right back here.
He sure does. Glenn Howard missed on his first one. He tried to double on the second one, didn't quite get over to the other side of the house, so it is a hit and stick. Opportunity for the deuce and the tie.
Should be good. And there it is for the Northwest Territories Yukon. Out of Yellowknife, Jamie Cooey.
So here's what I'm talking about for Nova Scotia. They're behind, so they put up the guards. Some rocks come in, and then they hit. And the hits are not getting rocks into a position where you can actually get into the house and limit the scoring. It's just blocking off the top 12. This is the time to come down and talk about this. You have to have a plan here. Are you trying to limit, or are you trying to get something in there, taking the risk to take the end away? And I'm not saying one's right, but they're weaving a little bit from one thought to the other.
Well, no, if you're going to go through the hole, I think you just freeze it. I don't mind the double, though. Just if they make the next one good, we got to play a double run or something. We don't have a lot of rocks left. Yeah. What do you like? I don't hate the freeze, but it's whatever you like.
Come on, freeze.
You could freeze either way, too. You could actually, a good camera angle there, you could play the wide in turn. There's all kinds of room to get to that back rock.
It looks a lot simpler. They haven't actually played much out there, but the path is much simpler.
Certainly is. This is ticks the red, ticks the yellow. They're in big, big trouble.
It wasn't, I mean, it didn't look like Jamie Murphy even looked at that, actually. He just concentrated on the center line.
Maybe a little bit of that
Looks
focus,
heavy.
Vic. Maybe too narrow at this
Hold it.
moment.
Close for line. Hold on, on
Struggling
the
a
red.
bit.
Whoa, on the red. Whoa.
Waits here.
Off it.
Any extra weight at all, this will not come up
on.
enough to
Yes.
get by that guard.
Whoa. Yes.
McDermott, Bardsley now pick him up.
Hard.
There's a little rub now. They're looking for plan B.
Okay.
1-2.
Stone a little heavy too. A little
Block
much.
out that freeze.
Just a hair, maybe, Linda.
Yeah, not thrown to brushing, and that's maybe part of the ice call.
That's how tough those shots are. Because of the big curl, the line is so much harder than it used to be years ago.
Quickest spot out here, eh, Grant?
Yeah. You think they have that?
Oh, they have the top.
Yeah.
We're gonna go here.
We'll have the straight back.
Straight back.
Keep
Yeah.
this wide open.
Yeah. Or this one.
No. Put it here. And if he makes that, you'll have a straight back.
I don't like the yelling up and down the ice, so Terry's plan is to go down and hear what they're saying.
Still like a top 12.
Your first call's
wide
right.
open.
Yeah, top 12 wide
Keep
open.
it wide open.
Taps it in, you got the straight back.
Yeah,
Taps
just
it in, you
I
got the straight back.
thought you said to tap ours back.
No.
That's why I came
Your
down.
first call was the right one.
Let's keep this wide open.
Right on the top 12.
Yeah, wide open.
Yeah, just top 12, full 12. As long as we're not even with our top 8 one. Here more.
Andy McCann
Looking for
72.
75.
throwing the third stones for the New
Line's
Brunswick
good.
champions out of
I think
Curl
weight's
Moncton.
good. It's curling hard.
Curling a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really going, guys.
Yeah. It's going to be buried. Yeah. Keep going to the 8 foot. Hard. Hard, guys. Got to keep it going.
It's to the 8.
Yeah. Go!
Yep. That's good.
That's all right.
Well, that definitely was plan B. The original plan was to
Man,
put it
that's
wide
it.
open
If he
top
plays
12
that
as
now,
a
it'll
usable
bounce
stone
back
to
in the
move
open.
up. And instead they managed to wrap around the stone they were worried about being tapped up. So plan B in place.
Hard, guys.
Look at it go.
Yeah. Go!
Now, that yellow stone is over buried by a foot, and it almost rubbed it.
Again, you could go the other way here, Linda, that the yellow tap on the right-hand side of the screen would be very simple. You'd sit second shot, but you'd be dead buried, and that would eliminate a lot. And then you could get at that shot rock down the middle here. I'm going to try the thin double.
Manitoba leads 2-1 against so far winless PEI, and Mike Goody from Charlottetown, and Manitoba from Brandon. Rob Fowler has a chance for what, 2 here, Kathy?
He does. It's been a pretty wide open end. Mike Goody tried a double on his first, rolled across the top for second. And so Rob split the house, and with the completion of this would be the good deuce.
2 yellows.
Nice. 2. 4-1.
He's just freezing, isn't he?
I got that maybe.
there.
I think we have to go here.
Where?
He's just going to play that.
He's coming around with the outturn all day.
You got to move this then.
I guess it's not simple.
I don't know. What do you think of Andy? He's got nothing over here.
He's got
Well, I'm
nothing
just
on
thinking.
Western.
You know,
Well, I'm
this is
just
really
thinking he plays
interesting to me
freeze.
because I've mentioned that I'm
I guess
a
freeze
little
to our
concerned
top
with
one?
Nova
Yeah, I
Scotia
guess
not
that's not a
having
piece
a
of cake,
plan.
is it?
Normally you think plan, what is the outcome I want? And so the shot sequence that fits that plan is this. A couple of guards, maybe a come around. And instead they're going draw, hit, and I can't really see the pattern. It seems to be influencing New Brunswick a little bit because their plan is flip-flopping as well.
Less.
Not really sure where they want this to land. Now they've decided to try and block the path for the come around.
I think the way it's gone for the first 3 games for
Yep.
New Brunswick, they're not sure, but with this good fortune, they're not sure what to do with
Line's
the 4th
good.
rock here.
Gotta go.
Yep.
Can't be short here, though. This could be trouble.
Come on. Go.
Grant
You
Odishaw.
got to bump it.
Scott Jones with a huge scrub here,
Get it by at least. Get it by that.
and trying to take away maybe a run back if there was one. Overlapped it just a little.
That actually adds as protection possibly for Jamie Murphy later here.
Had to be heavier, not lighter.
Yeah.
Roll's pretty tempting.
He's going to try the double again.
Let's get ready in case this one starts to cut.
He hits this perfect, makes the double perfect. It'll be about half open, but there's that catcher at the back, the one that New Brunswick threw a little bit deep. So still a chance to escape some jail here. About half a rock. If you hit it too thin, you get the back red one.
Yep. Hard. Hard. Whoa. 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 Yeah.
Skip Stones.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Very nice.
Yeah, it looks like he's sitting for one. Jamie Murphy.
Good shot.
Yeah, I think you are, Jamie.
Just beautifully played. They would love to move the red out of play, but it was all about the angle. Like I said, by hitting it perfect, you can see half the yellow, but I think it will redirect onto that back red.
Good shot.
Yeah. How much can you see of the one rock?
Not enough. Well, yeah, maybe.
You hit it high side, you got her.
If we just hair by, it could.
Problem is, you might open that up.
My what?
You're opening this up.
Opening what up?
3-1 combination.
Yeah, but if I make this, it doesn't matter if I open that up.
Yeah. Play it real tight. Play it real tight if you take the 7.
Well, I even thought about playing this, trying that.
Whichever one you like. I don't mind either one.
Well, I'd like to try this. It might make that easier the next time, right?
Okay.
Well, no, let's play that one. Play it really tight to this.
Yeah. Regular? Regular?
Yeah. Tell you, one rock we can't miss is the one we're hitting.
What are we trying to do?
So I think now they're playing the yellow tight to the rings under the red.
We're trying to pick the second one.
So on the yellow, that it's just on the H of Hortons, correct?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
At one point, Terry was playing the long double yellow. This looks a lot easier to me.
But as he said, he really has to skinny that guard.
Whoa!
Terry Odishaw in his first.
Whoa! Whoa!
McCann and Jones.
Whoa!
And then he angles across the top. Well, he didn't even flirt with that guard.
You know, from the nice angle we had from the far end, I'm not sure that was physically possible. Lindy had to hit about 2/3 of that.
With that weight, is not going to curl by the first yellow guard.
Grant had a very, very good point. It now opens up a yellow-red-red combination.
Hits it outside where shot rock.
If Jamie wants to, he doesn't have to now, but he could come down here, run the reds. Both reds will disappear, and all of a sudden there's 2 or 3 yellows in the ring.
I don't really know if we need to play that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
What's he got over here right now?
Actually, that's a good angle, too. The yellow, red I wanted to play is half buried, so you'd have to do it with soft weights.
And the yellow is shot rock.
So you don't want to play a pile of weight and chip out your own yellow that's in a good spot right now.
What does he have right now? He just has a draw, isn't he?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to see what he has. I don't think he can do anything over here, can he?
No. Did you look at this at all? Nose on that?
We did, yeah.
High side?
It's not high,
Probably
though.
kicks the 5 over, though.
But it's not high, though. It's low.
A little bit on that side, eh?
No, it's low because you want to try and nose it and make that.
Does he have anything over here, though, really?
I don't think he has anything on this side.
I agree.
So, I mean, we could throw a guard right here.
Just make it hard.
Yeah. Or we can play that. I mean,
if we play that, he may slash it in.
Well, he's not going to slash that in.
Okay.
Oh, he might.
We can play that.
The guard, I think.
You know him well, do you?
Yes.
Might as well go wide with it, eh?
Yeah.
Well, what a turnaround with that double that Jamie made on his first. At least the hit and roll into the shot rock position. Turned the whole thing around, and you had said New Brunswick was kind of cruising. Things had gone so well for them, and now Terry's looking at this situation and saying, how did it all go so badly?
We're cheering the guard.
I don't hate it. I can see almost all of that, eh? You can see almost all of that.
Go down there and talk to him again if you want to change it.
Tempting.
Looking at that yellow red again with soft weight.
It's wide open. Wow.
I see almost all of it.
Sure. It is wide.
But
wow. It's not wide.
I'm not saying I want to play
95%.
it. If you ever wreck on the guard, it's not good.
Yeah.
Kathy updating Saskatchewan and Quebec, and it is that red stone top of the button right on top of the Tims. That's Saskatchewan. So what does Quebec do now?
Well, they've that red guard on the center line twice placed by Saskatchewan. So he's playing the outside double raise onto the yellow, onto the red to try to score two.
Robert Desjardins from Chicoutimi.
Whoa!
No.
Whoa!
Curl.
Whoa!
Curl.
Bang, bang, and oh!
Good for one.
Wonderful shot. Robert Desjardins.
Whoa. Reach there, tight.
Whoa, now, whoa!
Whoa. Let die, let die, let die, let die. Let die. Shot.
Gotta love it. You come to Saskatchewan or really Manitoba as well. Many parts of the country, I shouldn't just say that. But there's they just saw Desjardins make a shot against their province, and they may have wanted to sit on their hands, but
No,
they did applaud it.
Very appreciative.
Great
Dangerous.
shot.
Pretty dangerous.
Terry wanted to run that one in there. Well placed guard though too. It chokes off a little bit of the forefoot, makes it a little more difficult.
You don't like the real thin, eh?
No. If you're playing a hit, it would be to go through the hole and pick the yellow.
Don't like that.
It's probably jamming on something.
This is where you look at the scoreboard and you don't think of anything foolish. You've had pretty good control of this game. Jamie makes the great shot. You just accept that and play the draw.
It's all yours.
What do you got?
A lot of room.
Whoa, guys.
So McCann and Jones
Whoa.
backing off.
Whoa.
Put her on the team.
Wait as long as
All yours. It's all yours. Easy, Andy. Whoa.
Need a good piece of the floor.
Whoa.
Uh-oh. Pinder's there now.
Good
shot
shot,
there.
dude. Shot, dude.
Just digs in, back four.
Hey, I got to pull the reins back on you.
It's going downhill once it starts curling.
One it is.
Sorry, guys. That was me.
New Brunswick leads, looking to win their first.
Happy on my first one, light on my second.
Those elbows look familiar, don't they? Gordie Howe and his statue from Floral, Saskatchewan. The NHL on TSN continues Tuesday. Minnesota Wild will be in Colorado to play the Avalanche. Both of them right now on the outside looking in when it comes to the top 8 in the West. It's a playoff push. 9 Eastern time. TSN 2 and TSN Mobile TV. Sunday night, day 2 of our coverage. Draw 5, the Tim Hortons Brier from the Credit Union Center here in Saskatoon. New Brunswick picks up 1-4 to lead 4-1 over Nova Scotia, trying to win 4 straight to start this year's Canadian Men's Curling Championship. And it will be the team from CFP Halifax playing the Yellowstones that has the last rock.
So we'll see if Nova Scotia can get something going this end with that corner guard in play. Nice shot, last shot for Jamie Murphy in the last end. An equally nice draw by New Brunswick.
Line's good.
They ate up a little bit of time that end. Both teams taking time, thinking through the shots, having trouble figuring out which way they wanted to play it.
Whoa.
Hard!
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Okay.
Northwest Territories Yukon in a 2-2 tie with Ontario, and that corner frozen stone belongs to Jamie Cooey of Yellowknife. Final stone on the way for Glenn Howard, Kathy.
Well, he made a great shot. Glenn did on his first one. He made an angle run back double, but Jamie Cooley went through the guards and froze onto the shot stone, and so Glenn needs to follow that path for shot.
Gotta go. No line at all. It's gotta go. All right, go.
Oh, well. Get better. Go,
It's just mucking in the middle now.
Go, 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 go!
Wow. Big mistake. Steal of one, and so Cooey takes the lead. And interesting, I just heard him say down that center line, getting a lot slower now.
Yeah, and then Wayne had mentioned that earlier too, and interesting, it's the biggest crowd we've had, the night game. It's very possible.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Nice sweep.
Such a balancing act for the ice makers. It's amazing they can even have ice and not water. And
Oh, yeah. It's good.
the air temperature down at ice levels, at least room temperature. You open your freezer and that wouldn't work very well.
Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that wasn't part of the plan, that's for sure. Peeling off the corner guard, trying to take the situation away that Nova Scotia was trying to develop. And watch thin tick.
That's brutal.
Kiss on the red to take out the other red.
Bad luck.
Oh, it hit the backside of the red one, redirected it right into my own.
It's good.
A little higher is not bad, Jordan.
Weight's fine, guys. Weight's fine.
A little higher, a little higher. Whoa, guys, whoa, guys, whoa,
Mike
guys.
Bardsley.
Whoa. Jordan, whoa.
Really high right now.
He's
That's
playing
fine, I
a
don't mind
guard.
a little high.
He could
Okay.
come in and split the rings.
Shot, bud.
Good, Mike.
Same weight.
Yeah,
Little
almost
less.
not bad.
Regular.
Okay.
Whoa.
Scott Jones.
Ever.
Get over it.
Whoa. No.
Well, those are two whoops.
This is the run back. So Nova Scotia sits one, albeit wide open. Top of the 12, but there is a guard on the covering the 8 foot. There you see it on the left-hand side.
What do you think of the first one that was missed by New Brunswick? That was a bad break. That last one, you could have hit it center line side. You could have done a lot of things except put it wide.
Absolutely.
Just above the tee.
Best
Tons of
chance
room. Whoa, room,
all
lot of
game
room,
for Nova
guys.
Scotia.
Ton of room, Jordan.
Keep this in front
Wide
of the tee
open. It's
line.
gonna be wide open. You can go back with it. It's not awful. Hip.
Finish it now, yeah?
Hard, Jordan.
Hard, guys.
Hard, Jordan. Keep it going. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go, Jordan. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Hard, hard, hard.
It wasn't going to be buried. They decided to bring it back as far as they can and get that finish. It is buried now. Not really where they wanted it, but at least it is buried.
I'll say again to you now, granted, weight may have been a factor there, but it just doesn't seem to be the big break.
Yeah, I think if he throws the exact speed he wanted, that probably wasn't finished underneath. So you're right, Vic. It looks a hair straighter, certainly in that inside-out shot.
I like it. I like hit and roll. Control.
Where do you want to roll?
Throw
Where do you
control
want
and
to
get
roll? Might as well do that if you're going to hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Deal.
Heel.
Yeah, I don't understand this at all. Andy's just saying, let's hit something. We're up 3. Terry's worried that you won't roll for shots, so now they're going to play the thin double, and it's makeable. But if you miss this, there could be 2 buried yellow.
Andy McCann. Angle it back and drives it by.
No, I'm not sure what that was about.
So the tap again behind the guard, but hoping to leave it a little higher in front of the tee line this time.
Oh, there's lots of room to stack them in behind that guard.
See if they can sink one this time, a little bit lighter.
Room. Weight's good.
Room. Just clean. Copy.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Weight's good.
Line's good.
Higher the better here, even if it's top 12. Just don't set up a double.
It's actually got a curl.
Weight's all there. Weight's all there.
Got a curl. It's got a curl.
It's all there. It's 2.
No. No, Mike. No, 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 no. Curl up.
Oh. Okay, bud.
And down to it. And now they're grouped.
Just hack.
Okay.
You got to make sure it goes away.
This is where Terry threw it.
What's that?
Terry threw this shot.
Yeah.
He rolled the center, though.
Russ, do you think they're overthrowing these Nova Scotia stones, or is it running a little quicker?
Well, I think overthrowing a lot. I think it's a shade straight with it's picked.
Jesus.
Keep on it. They got to watch that yellow guard. No, I think they're just any lighter, they'd get a little more curl too, Vic. But they did not want both those behind the tee line. If they were top 8, they'd be in great shape.
I think we better start cleaning the sliding path.
Yeah.
Well, that's a really bad break. We hate to see the picks in this game.
We saw one earlier today in the game between Ontario and Newfoundland Labrador.
Big shot here. You can take away the catchers at the back that could save New Brunswick.
Let's go then, go then. We have room, we have room.
Cut down the ice on this one. See if they can figure out the path in there to top 8, top 12.
Interestingly, Bardsley called on right away along with McDermott. So light out of his hand, they thought. Trying to wrap it around that guard, leave it high, leave it in front of the tee line, and there they go. Boy, there is the finish. That finished, didn't it?
Too much, Vic. Yeah, that's just that little lighter way it went. And now an opening for Terry here.
Yeah.
That's funny. They seem to cut down the ice from my way of thinking, and then they were playing less weight. So you have to expect potentially a little more curl as it's dying.
Terry puts us in the right spot, Linda. You're not getting out.
Grant.
So just asking for a little more ice. Skip Stones here in 5. Terry Odishaw in his first.
Yeah, weight should be good. Weight's good.
Whoa. Line only.
Yep.
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Weight's
whoa.
good. Whoa.
Weight's all there.
Whoa. Weight's good.
Little arm.
Yep. Weight's
Little
good.
arm. Whoa.
Whoa. Yep.
Walk
Weight's
out.
out. Yep. Yep.
Wow, it jumped on them.
Great shot, dude.
Wow.
Jeez.
Did he get away with one there? I mean, the fact that it jumped that much.
Yeah, it's a shade heavy, and that slow rotation that we see out of the Eastern teams a lot. And I think as it came across the sliding path there, it's getting a little bit softer, the ice, and that really curled hard. And it might have stayed true, bounced open. But yeah, I think so, Vic. But on the other hand, it maybe overcurled a little too much. Depending on it, I thought Jamie might play a little more weight here and try to tick it sideways. It's just going to try to angle freeze, and that would be a good spot also. You have to keep in mind that the New Brunswick rock maybe curled more than it normally does, so you can't take extra ice here.
Jamie Murphy got his first.
Whoa, whoa.
So heavy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
keep the line here.
Boy, they're trying to put it right on the corner now. Shot stone for the moment is New Brunswick, trying to hold the line. McDermott, Bardsley trying to get it by their own top. No, there's the rub and roll.
Did they not call out that they thought that was heavy?
Yeah, they did. They did. I wonder if it's slowing down a little bit.
I don't know. I put the watch on the others and they seem fine.
Seem good.
Not terrible.
Not terrible, no.
Got a real thin half of this one on the outside.
Control.
Roll the dice and guard.
What's that?
1, 2, 3. Quebec is sitting 3, but without last rock in the 5th against Saskatchewan, Kathy.
Well, it may look like a mess, but it was a bigger mess before Scott Manners threw his first one. Quebec had stones buried. He managed to split them up around the house. And so even though he faces 3, Vic, it is an open 3, an open hit
Clean.
for his point.
Lot of clean.
Whoa.
Clean, line's fine.
Yep. Whoa.
Just clean to stop.
Yep. Yep.
Clean, you got it.
Whoa.
Clean, right to it.
Clean.
Right to it.
Roll, Scott.
One more for Saskatchewan. They'll go to the break, leading Quebec 4-2. Both teams coming off losses this afternoon.
Jamie Murphy definitely has that run back on his own. The one he just threw, if he hits it absolutely perfect, he can pick that red right out of there for a possible score of 4. He might be able to even get the in-turn with soft weight, Linda. It looks pretty well buried, but maybe a hack weight, you might be able to do something. So Terry has no choice but to sit 2 with this one.
You have to remember, if you are New Brunswick, your goal when you've got this little bit of control is just to force the single. You're not trying to do anything crazy like steal a point.
Weight looks okay.
Right to my room, Andy. Got to be back 4, that's all.
Gotta
Whoa,
stay in
whoa,
4
whoa.
too.
Yep.
Whoa, Andy. Whoa.
Be ahead of it.
Hey. Whoa.
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 Good.
Interesting.
Like nose on a 5.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Do you try this shot? You have to get by that guard really tight. That's the first problem. But if you could ever hit it absolutely right where you want to, that goes for sure. The yellow redirects. That ends out there, and technically 5. Is it worth it, though? Because you don't hit this perfect. It's certainly a steal of 1, maybe 2.
Yeah, I think
Like
it's,
this?
at this point, it is 2.
Right?
I like it.
It's a thin double with a raise first, and I'm not sure you can see 100% of it, Linda. Just
No,
maybe,
just edge to edge.
You're going to throw any weight, or you have to squeak that guard. Tough shot.
Final stone, big reward if you make it.
Yep.
Picked up right away, Bardsley McDermott. You can hear Pinder. Right now, it's New Brunswick sitting 2. Got to squeak it by, they did. Run it back, and he drives it through the hole. So it's a steal of 1 for sure.
Thanks for saving me.
A steal of 2 as they kick it away. How close was he? Oh, over curl just that much. Steal of 2. 6-1 New Brunswick.
The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by World Financial Group. Proud to be a sponsor of the Season of Champions. Your dreams, our strategies. The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Ford, official automotive partner of the Canadian Curling Association. By Capital One, what's in your wallet? And by M&M Meat Shops, hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle.
Well, it's been an impressive game for New Brunswick. Hadn't won so far, but look, they steal 1 in the second, and then the steal of 2 more in 5. And so New Brunswick looking to win their first, leading 6-1, trying to hand Nova Scotia their first loss. Terry Odishaw is with Kathy.
Terry, you came into the game and it looked like you played it simpler earlier. Was that the plan?
I don't know if we started simpler, drew around everything, but no, we're sticking to the same game plan we've always played. You know, rocks in play, bump here, bump there.
The rocks, we've heard a little bit of talk that maybe they're not matched. Can you comment on the rocks tonight for your team that you're throwing?
Well, we have to match our own rocks. There are odd rocks in the sets. I think this is the first time I'm throwing 2 rocks that were paired. And I think the rest of the team is throwing odd numbers, you know, like 1-8 and 2-7.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, on the scoreboard, the odd rocks don't seem to be hurting them. Are they statistically hurting New Brunswick?
Well, not at all. Their numbers are quite good, and actually Terry Odishaw's at 88%. The struggles are on Nova Scotia's side. You can tell by the score, but you have to wonder. We said this would be a challenge for Jamie Murphy, the rookie skip. He seems to be challenged by choosing the shots. Mind isn't necessarily clear about what to call, and then when it comes to execution, he's at 63%, so it is a struggle tonight.
The numbers after 5 are brought to you by Tim Hortons. It's time for Tim's. He came in winning 3 in a row. Time to talk with Coach Helen Radford.
That's the game of the tanker. We were uncomfortable.
Let's get you caught up on some of the other games. And at the break, it was a 3-2 lead for the team from Yellowknife. Jamie Cooey, Glenn Howard, though, trying to get back even, Kathy.
Well, he is. Jamie made a good one on his last one, got the 2 Ontario stones out, and so that forces Glenn to draw here against 2 for his single.
And as mentioned, you see on the right, that's his son Scott Howard with Brent Lang. Craig Saville is sitting this one out, and it's a draw against those 2 at the back. Oh boy, it is. It really is quick, and it'll stop in time, though. Back 8 to even it up at 3. Now let's go over to PEI and Manitoba. Manitoba is sitting shot stone. Mike Goody.
Well, and this is the blank attempt.
Mike coming in here with a bad cold. The skip out of Charlottetown. Oh my. Throws it by. And a steal of 1. 5-1. Here on a Sunday night to wrap up day 2 of the Tim Hortons Brier from the Credit Union Center here in Saskatoon. New Brunswick has stolen 3 points so far. They're up 6-1. And here in 6, Nova Scotia will have the last rock playing the Yellowstones.
Whoa.
Insane.
Halfway.
It was lighter for sure.
Felt like you were all there.
Really tight corner guard, dangerously close to slipping into the rings and allowing a takeout by New Brunswick. And 2 perfect stones by Grant Odishaw. And another great game for Grant. He's had a good week so far. Needs to sit.
Well, there's no doubt this is a lopsided score at the moment. There's no doubt that Nova Scotia has seen steals against them. That doesn't mean you can't steal, but the first focus for Nova Scotia has to be just good shots in a row. 8 good shots make potential of getting a couple with hammer. And until you have that focus and think about those specific shots, the little lessons you always say, Ross, about after the 5th end break it's faster, get lost, because you're still thinking too much about making the shot into the house and not how do we get the shot to be a good shot. Just process, not outcome. And so the focus for Nova Scotia, I mean, these are hard lessons to learn. There's a little break for you, however. But you have to be careful in that 5th end break chat. Whatever they talked about should still come back to 1 shot at a time, 1 end at a time. How do we execute those shots?
Hey, Rush, do you want to take a little issue? And I'm not, believe me, I'm not trying to force you, but you want to take a little issue with what Terry told Kathy about a more simple game plan, because Am I not right? I mean, to your eye, he did not attack this game the way you expected it.
Absolutely, you're right. You're not at all. Lindy was the first one to pick up on it. It was a simple first in. I don't know. They made a couple of draws, Grant did, but it was basically wide open. A mistake by Nova Scotia. They jammed one, and it was a clean cut end. They kept the rocks separated and controlled their deuce and got a nice steal in the second end. And we talked about it. It just seems simpler, Vic. And I think it's tough sometimes. I think Terry doesn't want to let down his guard and let the other teams know that he likes to be aggressive. Sometimes you scare teams a little bit, and we've seen a lot of the lower ranked teams over the years play scared, and I think that's all Terry's trying to say to his team is, I'm not afraid of these guys. But no question, Vic was much more wide open the first couple ends. Big mistake by Scott Jones. He said 2 or 3 out turns run on him a little bit. Scott throws that out turn from an inward position and floats it back a little bit, like a lot of good players do. But you can get away from it if you throw it hard enough.
He's had some tough ones in this game. It is really the Odishaws, Grant and Terry, with the good numbers in the game. Middle two, Scott and Andy have had their struggles. Even heard Andy apologize a couple of times and said, well, at least I can brush for you because I'm making some mistakes out here on the throws.
Terry doesn't make the angle freeze in his first one last end. That could have been a messy 4 or 5 ender.
Yep.
Line only.
Our line.
Over and off, guys.
Line's good.
Over and off. Line's fine.
Over curling a bit.
Die. Whoa, guys.
Oh.
Shot.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Dinner's better than fish.
We get by.
Regular.
Okay.
Boy, I don't know. I like the double peel myself. It's a much easier shot. If you try to get by here and you miss wide, you chip out your own red one. There's an easy split to sit 3. You've got to come around with a corner guard. Andy has to miss this narrow.
Going through the hole here.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Somebody mentioned through the hole here.
Oh.
But it's just a funny process on the shot call. It was the double peel that was originally called. That was the plan. And then it's the skip telling you how to miss. Well, that's not a great way of approaching it. Of course there's a plan B, and that plan B comes from the ice you give or the weight you call. But what a strange thing to do, and got fortunate that it ended up going through that hole.
There is no hole when it went through there. If it ever ticked that red one, like I say, it would be all uphill. Still a chance here, make the double. A lot of yellow kicking around.
Jordan Pinder will drive it by and rolls and then out into the open.
Okay.
Get their chances, Nova Scotia. They just can't put a complete end together.
Yeah,
same way.
What you said, Linda, about not looking too far ahead, trying to put 8 shots together, not 4 or 5 good ends, just 8 shots.
8 good shots. Weight to the broom. Such a simple game, isn't it, when you think about it that way? I know there's a lot of complications out there, and you look at this building and all the things that go through your mind, but you have to get it back to the shot.
Andy McCann.
Whoa!
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 All right, Scotty.
Nice throw.
Shot.
Andy is in his first Brier appearance, although he has been here before as an alternate with James Bratton.
Okay. Pretty quick now, so. Yeah.
You know, I think back to the days of Gary Mitchell, for example, down in Brunswick. Gary always wore that baseball cap, remember? But there seems to be, because of the limited numbers, certain guys always coming around and playing, and he's with Grattan and he's with you, or he's with that guy, and the number of elite curlers in the Maritimes generally is limited.
Oh, no question. It's like the National Enquirer down there this time of year when all the teams are eliminated and who's going to go with who and what's going to change, and it's tough. It's a lot of good players, but can you get 4 of them to get along and 4 of them to commit to this level that the top teams do? It's tough.
Picture some guy in a curling club with a black bar across his eyes.
You're hung pretty straight, eh?
Yeah. Rumors start.
Can't be either one. We may hit that in the...
All you got to do is make contact with this. Be hard to pick it over the top.
What?
You might have it on the intern.
So if you can't throw control, you may bounce it in.
Yeah. This isn't that hard, Grant.
Okay.
Also safer.
Okay.
Grant pointed out that if you go hard for that red one, tick that top yellow 4 feet short of the rings, you might tick it in the rings. Then there's a hit to sit 3.
You have to be impressed with Grant's input. He is the lead, and not often do we see the lead fill that role of vice skip. We saw it with Nancy Delahunt on the Colleen Jones team. But when they have that valuable information, it really works for the skip.
It's up,
Whoa.
Terry.
Little firm. Whoa. Whoa.
Way up.
Whoa. 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 All right.
Anything?
Yep.
Yeah. Good.
Shot, Terry.
Shot.
Try and go full T-line.
Sure.
Shot.
Still a great opportunity for the deuce. This will curl here for sure.
Right here.
But you can see why
Draw.
Linda Russ was saying when we first came on air, this New Brunswick team may be 0-3, but the way they're playing tonight, making some shots, getting a break once in a while, certainly, but their record right now belies the way they're playing.
Well, we've always said about this team from New Brunswick that they have a lot of good things going for them. Our criticism was with a little bit of strategy, and if you have one bad end, that kind of throws off the other 9 that you've played so well. And if they can get it so that they have 10 good ends and execute those shots well, they can really be in the thick of it.
Yep, hard line. Shot.
A little deeper than they wanted. It gives Terry an out. They had to brush it to get it by.
Very nice.
Well, of course, Kathy, many of the eyes here in the building in Saskatoon on this game. On Saskatchewan leading 4-2 on Quebec and sitting 1-2 and 3. So that's what's facing the Quebec skip from Chicoutimi, Robert Desjardins.
And a lot of frustration for Quebec this end. It has not so much been about great shots made by Saskatchewan. It's just a lack of performance by the Quebec team, hitting things on the wrong side, and very emotional player.
Oh, yes.
And so it's about calming himself down in the hack to throw, because if he's able to draw to the 4-foot, he brings his team within 1.
And that's what he said to us. He knows he's an emotional player. We saw it last year when he was playing a third with Francois Gagné. They went 3-8, and getting his emotions in check was something he worked on very hard. And there is a wonderful draw to pick up the single. 4-3. Saskatchewan continues to lead.
Heavy.
Terry's way heavy at this point, but it is slower in this spot. It better be.
Oh, no, it's not. It is not.
Not even close.
And so Nova Scotia will get a chance to pick up a couple.
Taking about 2 shots.
Jamie Murphy.
Wait.
It's all there.
What do you have?
You look, just look.
Ball. 70. 70.
Pretty good.
Stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it. Go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go. Gotta go.
Uh-oh.
All right, guys. George.
Here they come now. Here comes Pinder as well. So Pinder, Bardsley, McDermott.
Gotta go. You gotta go.
Yeah, there it is. To the top edge of the 4 for 2. Nova Scotia Is this the comeback now to try and make it 4 straight wins?
Yeah.
Let's quickly go over to Sheet A, Northwest Territories, Yukon against Ontario in a 3-3 tie. And Jamie Cooey, Kathy.
Well, he's trying to play the run back. Glenn's guarded on both of his. Jamie peeled the first one. This is the run.
Bang, and there they go. For 2 for Cooey from Yellowknife. Looking to hand Ontario their first loss and also win their second in a row. Welcome back on this Sunday night as the he just got here in time to as the wave sort of just petered out here at Credit Union Center. Nova Scotia picks up 2 to lead 6-3. And here in this end, it'll be New Brunswick that has the last rock here in the 7th, playing the Red Stones.
First time we've seen this play, Linda. You don't see it very often on arena ice with this much curl. Again, Terry's used to the straight stuff, but I like it. You go to the open side with hammer. Don't complicate it. If Grant played to come around and came slid behind the tee line or was way short, it would be detrimental. So it's a rock over there that could go on the scoreboard.
Are we in?
It's good, tight. Not in.
Whoa. Sure? It's close.
Yep, sure.
So for Nova Scotia, we already talked about their second half of this game. They have to have a different kind of plan, and it looks like their plan is to put up 2 guards and be very aggressive.
They're
going to force New Brunswick back to the middle, see if they get a mistake, see if Nova Scotia can get a rock in a good spot.
I think Terry was hoping to draw the play over to the side there, and knowing what we know now, maybe they should have come around with the first one. And if Grant puts 2 in the right spot, which he has all game, it would be more difficult for Nova Scotia to steal.
Grant is the event coordinator for Curl Moncton. Remember a few years ago, you may remember this, Russ. He's been involved in the game and loves the game so much. But didn't he come up with the mechanical pebbler?
Terry.
Or was it Terry?
Terry actually did, yeah exactly.
The mechanical pebbler, and it was based on a little cart, and the idea was instead of the hand motion, it was mechanical back and forth and to spritz the ice down.
It was a great idea because there was no human error that way. It was put on uniformly, and I think the prototype was quite a bit of money, and I think that's part of the problem.
Got to curl a bit, guys.
That's a very delicate term that you use, spritz the ice.
Yeah.
Got to curl.
Gotta go hard.
Hard, guys. Come on.
Redstone on the top 4 in a nice spot. They're trying to play to it. Will come up short.
What a big split there.
Not sharp today, Nova Scotia in this game.
What's any good? That's tough.
Out turn.
If you could ever make it with hack, you're in good shape. Oh, just a little roll, but yeah.
Heel or normal? Just up normal. Whoa.
Scott has the handle dead straight, Linda, when he
Solid.
goes to throw that in turn, almost regrips it and then has to put the turn on it, and that will flare it out sometimes.
Oh, like now? Just enough.
We normally teach having an angle on the rock both turns. You actually turn the shoulder differently for the out turn and then apply the grip. Establish it at 230 position for the right hander and then bring the hand just almost to 12 o'clock. There's the angle. Bring the hand back almost to 12 o'clock to apply the rotation. Extra rotation, of course, for the arena. Now everybody does come up with a little difference to their delivery, and the uniqueness is accepted as long as you can be consistent and your numbers show that you can be consistent. And that is not happening, at least tonight, for Scott Jones.
Okay, bud. All right.
And that one is very heavy. What a struggle.
Just updating you on the other game on the ice. Prince Edward Island has just picked up a couple. Mike Goody in the 7th. They're playing the 8th. Manitoba and Rob Fowler continues to lead, and he also has the last draw.
Room.
I like the weight, Grant.
Mine's good.
Weight's nice.
Room. Yeah, room. Whoa.
Probably 5.
Whoa. Yep. Hard.
Yep.
Hard.
Hard, guys. Go, 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 go.
Okay, Grant.
Hard.
Okay, that's good.
Good shot.
Well judged. It's about the best they could do. They waited as long as they could to get the maximum curl and then pounded it from hog line in.
Oh, I can't be.
Normal's good. Got to make sure we stick. You stick it there, it's okay. Yeah. It's normal.
Okay.
The comment was normal, but they have to stick. You just said it, but
yeah, we both looked at each other. How do you get by the guard that closely with normal weight and stick the shooter? And the shooter is key. You don't even need to remove these if your plan is to keep rocks in play.
yeah, and if you're an inch tighter, you take your own out. The end's over for a potential steal.
Close. Right off it. Whoa. Get off it. Oh, nothing. Okay, that's good.
Great throw, all the same. It's the best you could do is just hang it on the wing.
Shot, Pinder.
Good shot. Pretty good.
It's a very long round robin, and I think sometimes you lose sight. Nova Scotia, such a nice start. And you lose sight of the fact, and we've talked about it, that you just need to pace yourself. You can have losses. A loss is just a game that didn't go quite as well as you hoped, and you just chalk that up to a little experience and move on. And if you put too much investment into the one game in round robin play I'm speaking of, then it becomes too important, and then you start to worry about losses in general. And for this second half of the game, I kind of anticipated that Nova Scotia would look at this as going out and trying to have a good second half.
Yes.
Good shots. Have a plan. Take a little risk if you want to get back in this game and not worry about the loss. But it looks to me like they're still playing this uncertainty of what shot to call.
As you say, even if they don't come back, if you play a strong 45 minutes here, it bodes well. It's all about that confidence. Could go around the other way here. You get it partially buried. You could use the red one as backing. Pretty quick spot here. Everything's been deep.
Wait, should be there. Well then.
What do you think, Tom?
Never the way.
You saw that Jordan Pinder is doing his post-doctoral in pathology at Dalhousie.
Just the freeze.
Don't know if that makes him a CSI.
No bounce, though. You can't bounce it even an inch. You can't bounce it even an inch. Never.
That's the finish.
That will not quite. Shot stone, still New Brunswick. Back of the 4-foot.
That's why it's not curling now. Even right there is good.
Okay.
We're number 1.
Okay.
Still like bouncing it a little bit.
I like bouncing it a little, I think.
I don't even mind that.
Yeah? Yeah, that's not bad.
The only way he gets shot is to hit it on this side.
Yeah. Okay.
Go there.
You guys want less, eh?
Your last time was 60, so 65 to 70.
Yeah.
Well, you do come back to the fact that rocks in play do help Nova Scotia in this case. You have to be really careful where you put this one.
Mine's good.
Yeah, you're really shrinking that scoring area for the time being, too.
Mine's good. Got to be top 4.
Ed McCann.
Help. Line's really good.
Oh, it's hanging again. Go hard.
Hard. Hard. Hard.
Same split.
It's not bad.
Maybe chip ours in.
Yeah, that'd be great. 5 first?
Yeah, I think so. He's been doing it all game.
So here's the come around that you talked about, playing the other direction.
Yeah, I liked it better originally. If it's hard to, bury around a rock that's virtually in the ring. So if you leave this partly open, it can't be removed. It'll be redirected onto the New Brunswick stone. Mind you, you need shot rock here now, so it has to be almost on the top of the button would be ideal. Chance to steal here.
Mine's good. Good.
Well, now this is the time as Saskatchewan is playing on the other side of the sheet here that the front end really has to keep their heads up.
Hard, Jordan! Hard! Whoa, 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 whoa!
It's hard when you can't hit. Alright, it's good there. Just sneak another one in there if he ever rolls off. Yeah.
Shade farther than they wanted it. Pretty good attempt, though. Dead buried. We know there's enough finish here with this great surface that Terry can tap that. Sit the 2.
Not a lot of real estate for him to work with on this one.
D-line. Weaving. Weaving. Very nice.
No line yet.
Whoa, guys.
No line yet.
For Century 21 Global.
Whoa, it's there. Whoa.
It's really sliding.
Whoa.
Curl, baby.
Whoa.
And just a little bit of a rub, roll, and it'll spin off. And now it's corner frozen.
And melting.
Still shot stone right now. It's Nova Scotia back button.
If we just go straight here,
Yeah.
he can't do anything there. You're risking that up. So
Yeah.
that's fine.
That top
Anyways.
red that Andy McCann threw top 8 foot could have tapped out that yellow on the left-hand side of the 4 foot a long time ago, Linda. We both looked at that call. That's a problem rock for New Brunswick now. And if
Straight freeze.
Jamie
Yeah,
can
we
get to the
replace-
inside here, he sits 2 dead buried, maybe even 3 if he nudges that yellow-red combination. But I'm sure he'd be happy just to sit the 2. And I'm not sure how Terry scores.
Well, that's what we were talking about. This is how Terry gets into trouble. You have the lead on the scoreboard, in this case, a 3-point lead, and suddenly rocks are everywhere. And he even started with an open plan, going out to the side with the center guard, and then the plan switched, and that's when he got into trouble.
Line's good. Room.
Great opportunity now for Nova Scotia. Jamie Murphy, he is sitting one back of the button, trying to put one right on the lid.
Get off it!
Off it.
Has to curl a lot.
Oh, it's got curl still.
No!
No. Good curl.
Might take the little rub and roll to the lid here if it can get across the nose. And he'll get there and sit for 2.
That's really good.
Curl as much. Nice shot.
It's not the 5 rock.
Yeah.
And if I know Terry, he's going to come down here and come across this way, and he's good at these. I don't see a lot of other options, Linda. I don't think you can get to the inside here. That would be nice, but that would be so tough to curl that much.
Now looking at the red one, top 8, but it is partly covered.
Danger with a shot I call it. You could give up 3.
No. A timeout. Did you call it?
Timeout is being called by New Brunswick. Crucial moment here, in danger of possibly giving up a steal of 2. Now quickly, let's go over to the game between Saskatchewan and Quebec. This is the final stone. This is live. It's on its way, Kathy.
Well, it is, and that roar you heard earlier is the shot stone, the great draw made by Scott Manners on his first. Needs to get a bit of that white to score 2.
Boy, it's going to hook in enough. No, they had to wait so long. And Saskatchewan will pick up one more.
Good inside.
and coming in a bit. I go more, Grant.
Can't get you to hit the 4.
That's,
you go by it.
That's like right here with draw weight. That's not going to get by. What's that?
If you get by the 1 rock and hit the 4, they'll get 3.
No, they won't.
Going to try to play the red tap. Andy put it there so they know the spot. It's quite a long guard. It's probably there, Linda, because you can hit it on a bit of an angle. You don't have to hit it dead on. Dead on works, obviously, but you hit it a little high side and hit it onto the rock that was just thrown.
Oh.
Are you surprised he's not playing the in-off here?
Yeah, I am.
Little hot.
Because that's Terry's
bread and butter.
Yeah, for sure.
Heavy. Whoa!
But he's made a lot of these this week so far, too. This is close.
Whoa!
It's really close.
And Jones, nothing, all on its own. Gotta feather it, get by. Angle it back, no. And so it is 1 and 2. Steal of 2 for Nova Scotia. And now Nova Scotia is within 1. Now we'll go over to Northern or Ontario. I keep saying that. It's the people, the team from way up north. Northwest Territories and Yukon playing Ontario. It really close for shot stone, I thought. Is this a possible 2 for Ontario, Kathy?
Well, what he needs to do, Glenn does, is to tap his stone. He's trying to tap his stone and roll to get the deuce. He was lying 3 all in, Glenn Howard was, but on his final stone, Jamie Cooey made the great hit and roll.
Line's good, close. Yep. Hard.
So Scott Howard, Brent Lang on the brush, the rub, the roll, and that little touch maybe makes it really close. Ontario gets just 1. Cooey from Yellowknife continues to lead.
I just remember walking around this arena, and I knew then that I would have to somehow find a way to manage my way here. Saskatchewan is all about the passion. It runs deep as green colors, and it has for years. It's a great honor to wear the green, and yeah, here we go. Your team, Saskatchewan, you know how they introduce us onto the ice. It's that moment. Waited a long time to hear that.
Yeah, it was back in 1989. He was here watching the Brier with his dad. He said, I'm going to do it, Dad. I'm going to get here. And now he is. Scott Manders is the Saskatchewan champion. And he will be the feature Monday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time against the team from Yellowknife and Jamie Cooey. Kathy Gauthier, Brian Mudrick will have that for you. Draw 6, the Tim Hortons Brier. Look at this. Just now a 1-point game. 6-5. The steal of 2 by Nova Scotia as we go to the 8th. And once again, New Brunswick will have the last rock playing the Redstones.
Well, in my opinion, it was that strategy error left in, and then Terry had a very difficult shot, came close to making it, but couldn't quite do it. And the problem is not just the scoreboard. You've had a momentum flow. You've given the other team some confidence of feeling like they can get back in this game now. Just the 1-point difference on the board.
Luckily for New Brunswick, the one constant is Grant Odishaw. Perfect top of the button, dead buried, and got to the inside with his second one. A really nice shot. So angles so far in good shape for New Brunswick.
So coming into this evening's 5th draw to wind up day 2 of round robin play, Nova Scotia tied with Alberta in the win column. Alberta idle tonight. Ontario's on the ice but trailing. Manitoba's on the ice. Northern Ontario idle after losing earlier today. The big surprise though, that it is that Newfoundland Labrador team. Brad Gushue dropped the first 3.
Decided to peel this time.
Maybe he was listening.
Yeah. I think Terry felt to argue on his side. He felt the angles were good last end, but once Andy dropped that one short, oh boy.
Tight, tight.
Easy. A couple of great shots by Jamie Murphy.
Hard line.
No, guys. Line's fine, guys.
Hard line.
Where's the weight? Where's the weight?
Tight. Freezes the back. Whoa. It's good. It's good. Clean it. Clean it.
Good reminder from the skip about the weight call. You have to be continuing to communicate here. They called the guard, and he wanted to know whether or not it would stop in front of the rings.
Nose. Straight peel. Hands. Whoa. 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 Shots.
That second red one, the one at the top of the 4-foot, just fully 8-foot, was just the key shot so far in this end with Grant. It's dangerous now with the yellows. With both those yellows have been fly quite easily.
Jordan Pinder as we play third
tight,
stones
clean,
here
tight,
in the 8th.
Clean it. Real tight. Tight's okay. Tight's okay. Tight to in.
No, it's not in. It's not in.
A little bit. Okay, it's good. Got.
The way this strategy is proceeding for New Brunswick is based on Russ's point, the good lead rock positions. Feels pretty comfortable with the way that setup is in the rings.
Andy McCann.
Any thoughts yet? He's got the pick on the red, right?
So New Brunswick was waiting for Nova Scotia to make the first move.
Back 4, back 8.
Okay. It's not much more than.
No, just a couple feet.
It's a good call, Linda, I think, because if you can tap the yellow, red, yellow, then the 2 reds will be possibly in a double position, depending on how far you tap it. Could keep guarding it, I guess.
Up. Hard. Back 4. Really hard. You gotta go. All right, guys.
The gotta go is because he was a little inside, got it started. Early break on this, and it's really slicing across.
Real hard. Hard. Keep it going. Hard. Whoa.
And all the way out the back.
You bang it now? Y3? Can you Y3? No, you can't Y3.
I don't think you can, no.
Can't get the top one out.
It's now going to chip that, eh?
Tick that red a little farther.
Yeah, he's
just control.
interesting to watch the Nova Scotia skip after the shot. Just turning around, going for the water bottle. A little frustrated
We don't have to
because
get rid of all of them.
he sees the comeback and he hates to have it derailed right now.
Definitely, it's very frustrating. They have a really good chance to stay in this game.
Same
The
shot,
last
Andy.
miss is going to cause them a lot of trouble.
Whoa.
No.
Hey! Whoa! Hey! Oh, man, he can't throw those.
Gets the separation.
Good.
Shot stolen, though, is New Brunswick. Second shot, though, is Nova Scotia at the back 8, about 4 o'clock.
Control.
Not ideal, though, Linda, and they just no speed on that one. Get that a little more solid. You save the shooter A, and both the yellows would fly. Now there's a chance to sit first, second, and fourth.
What's that? Give him the 6.
Let's take a look at some of the player numbers now.
Well, what a turnaround in this game. After 5, we had some numbers. Terry Odishaw was at 88% and Jamie Murphy at 63%. And there's the change. Terry dropping, Jamie increasing his numbers. That's going to have to continue, of course, for Nova Scotia to have a chance to get back in this game.
Player numbers are brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Skip Stones here in the 8th.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Good throw, bud. Nice shot.
Which is no good. We got no double.
What do you like? I don't like that one, man.
I know.
You can make a double and stick. All right, guys.
Yeah.
Just control weight. Yeah.
He has to play the double now.
Trying to keep his chances at a deuce alive here.
Yeah, he can sit 2 if he makes it 2, I think, unless he throws it very hard.
Yeah, control weight double.
Control, that's smart. You tend to want to throw a lot on these, but you hit it in the exact right spot. With peel weight, you're rolling right out.
Up a bit. Yep, firm board.
Terry Odishaw, his first.
Hard! Hard!
McCann, Jones on the brush.
Hard! Right up! Right up!
Trying to run it back, make the double. No, he'll drive it through. Shot stone remains. Nova Scotia back 8.
It was a tough read because he played so many peels down that spot, and that up weight runs very straight. Pull the weight back to get the curl.
Yeah.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Some throw it. 75, 80.
Well, you may have heard the crowd yelling, "Let's go Manners." That's the Saskatchewan skip, of course. Scott Manners from Battleford as he plays Robert Desjardins, and it is right now, Kathy, that red stone, Saskatchewan is sitting 1.
And that is the final stone thrown by Scott just now. It's a great draw. He just got by the front, but the ice moves so much tonight on this sheet that if Robert is able to get to the face or even half of it and tap it back, it could be for 3.
Robert Desjardins trailing by 2. And both Villeneuve, Monroe have backed right off, and for good reason. Saskatchewan steals one more. They're up 6-3.
Pretty good attempt by Jamie Murphy there. He looked at a hair more buried and a hair higher. No chance at a double.
It's been a very strange end, though. Don't forget, Nova Scotia missed a shot completely, trying to rearrange the stack. They were each waiting for each other, I think, to make the move, to move things around. That miss actually then led to a little mistake by New Brunswick, which gave Jamie the chance back. So it's been kind of swapping opportunities. We just saw Quebec add a little weight and have a rock run very straight. This is a little tap against 2.
Final stone.
It's good.
In a game that's turned around here with Nova Scotia getting the deuce and 6, stealing 2 more and 7. Just a 1-point lead now. McCann and Jones again with the big scrub.
Whoa, whoa, plain. Good throw, Terry.
Very nice throw.
To get the single sitting top of the 4-foot. So for the moment, Terry Odishaw, New Brunswick, they stopped the bleeding. Well, it's time now for the M&M Meat Shop's Final End Challenge right after the game. Please go to finalend.ca, enter the secret word. You'll have a chance to win tickets for two to see the 2013 World Junior Curling Championships in Sochi, Russia. First 100 entries will have a chance to win a $50 M&M gift card, and all participants will get an M&M discount. We will give you that secret word shortly. All right, Kathy, time to go back to work here. What's happening between Northwest Territories, Yukon, and Ontario?
Well, it's been a very well-played end by Ontario. Glenn's final stone hitting and rolling, which means it is the draw that Jamie Cooey must make.
Line's good. All you. Yep. Yep. T-line. T-line. T-line only. T-line. Just T.
Facing three.
Easy. Just T.
One earlier today, looking to win two in a row and possibly hand Ontario their first loss. Oh, this is going to stop bending, and it does. Avoids the overcurl to pick up one, 6-4. Ontario will have the last rock coming home. We have our first final, too, as Manitoba make the final, wins 8-3 over PEI. So Rob Fowler, who dropped his opening game to Quebec, has now won 3 in a row, Prince Edward Island, and Mike Goody falls to 0-4. New Brunswick gets 1 in 8, and here in 9 it'll be Nova Scotia. We'll have the last rock.
Gotta go.
They have the hammer playing the Yellowstone.
Shot. Look at that. Throw like 2 feet in the last.
New Brunswick's going to try and keep this as simple as possible. One went through, 2 corner guards up, and now the peels. You see the one rock play. The second lead stone came into the rings, called in top 4.
Yep. Go hard.
Scott Jones.
Hard.
Whoa. Oh boy. Rolls over to the center line.
Sorry, guys. That's some crest trips coming out of the hack.
Right up the stick.
Straight jaw, top 8.
It's funny, weren't we talking today, Linda, about the 10th end and trying to come back despite the free guard zone, how often the ticks are played now, and the teams are getting so good at defending the free guard zone, trying to hold leads or trying to put themselves in position to get a point for the win. And I said to you, know, that because they're getting so good, it wouldn't be nice if they maybe went to that Moncton rule where all 4 rocks were in play. But then you get a mistake like this, and you get the roll to the center, and that's the game.
Yeah, you still do see those mistakes made. And we still see a lot of teams actually not even try ticks because they are difficult shots, and depending on the ice surface, you have to play it a different way. If you're fortunate, you get the mistake that you need.
A slow, sticky surface. You have to throw it so hard. The tick's very tough.
Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Whoa.
Oh, he's going to come up here, maybe catch a corner. Does, and then slides underneath.
It's more behind the guard now. It's more behind the guard now.
Almost hit his own there, which wouldn't have helped.
Intern freeze. Bill Ike.
Intern freeze. Probably gives him a pretty easy double, though.
Don't hit a guard. Guard's good, yeah? Skirt the yellow.
Okay.
Halfway?
You're taking a little less than 4 feet. Oh, there goes a little bit more ice.
Mike Bardsley.
Just
One thing
the
that,
second stone.
Sorry, Vic. One thing that Nova Scotia is trying to keep in mind is maintain the deuce. Often when you're in this position when you're down 2 and you're already so late in the game, you start thinking about extra points, so you put up the 2 quarters, thinking 3. The one thing you don't want to lose sight of is that you definitely want to keep the deuce alive. There's always a chance to steal coming home. Both teams have had good success stealing in this game.
Do we dare guard?
They're both going to have to be a little careful. They've been quite slow in this game.
Okay.
decided they might not be able to get in there, so he's going to try to guard it up.
It's to it. It's bouncing.
What? Bounce the yellow a bit, I think. Just don't set anything up.
No, not yet.
It's bouncing.
Make sure we
Whoa! It's got a curl.
Curl.
Okay.
Boy, he nearly lined those up. But it worked out quite
Might
well.
have worked.
Now he's guarded. Now the red raise is tougher on the center line.
So there. Yeah, let's do that. All right, yeah.
When we get to this stage of the end, it's interesting to see when the initial come-arounds are not frozen, even not tapping that rock that's in the forefoot.
Mine's good.
Now you have to be
Reach
really
close.
careful that you still find a way to get at that shot rock position.
It's close.
Oh, got to curl a mile. Got to curl a mile. Still heavy.
It's a little heavy.
Hip. Hey, go top button. Hard. Go, hard.
Gonna drag it there. Oh, and they just do by that much.
Straight freeze.
New Brunswick continuing the
Straight
plan of
freeze.
just making that house tiny by trying to get another
Line's
one in the
good.
top four.
Hard line.
Line's good.
Hard line.
Straight freeze.
Hard. 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 Go, guys.
Go, Scott.
Go, 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 go. Hard, 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 hard.
Wow.
Wow, is right.
I thought your 7 rock was straight.
No.
The other one?
No,
The
that
other one.
isn't. Was that a wow
Maybe
for you
that's
too?
curling more then.
The way that broke in there?
I think it was more of a softer release, and that's what we're kind of trained to do in the straight stuff. And I'm not sure it was the rock. It just they were on that early for
A hair
line.
more weight, not much.
But, it's just hard to believe if you don't play in these surfaces. We say that a lot, but it's the truth. But the good news is it's tough to sit two here. Actually, it's impossible at this point in time.
Whoa.
I got less.
Hair less. A little less.
Hair less.
Go if you have to.
Whoa.
You have room, no. Whoa, room.
Whoa. Whoa.
It's got to go a little.
Yep. Whoa. Lots of weight.
It's got to go a little.
Up. Hard. Hard, Mike. Hard, guys. Hard. Hard. Hard.
Hear Jamie Murphy say just a little more weight. Then he got the rub and a little tap
Come on, Pinder.
to sit down on
Just
top.
held that a bit.
No, I'm free, but the hair less weight in the first one.
I don't. They said
Yeah.
it was, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it wasn't. This problem is just the exact same.
Yeah.
How's he gonna do that if he's guarded?
Right? Yep.
You see anything else that he's got?
Well, he's running it in. What if he ever ran it through this way?
Yeah, the other
Leave
scary
it
one
high.
is this red straight back.
No.
No?
You better go.
Okay, guard.
Throw guard.
Guarding?
I think so.
Geez, we could steal one.
Well, force is good.
Skull skipper.
Saskatchewan
Well, we kinda
is
wanna
sitting
guard the
two,
button now.
Kathy. Quebec last rocking down by 3.
Well, it's been a frustrating end, particularly for Robert Desjardins. On his first one, he had a chance to hit to lie 2. Was really set up, Quebec was, to lie 2. He missed the stone. And then Saskatchewan hit and rolled. And so now instead of the deuce, he is forced to take 1. He did not even come down after his first throw. Frustration.
So trying to put it in the pocket.
Like 5.
Just like that for the single. So Saskatchewan has the lead. They'll also have the last rock coming home.
It's good enough.
Does he have that there? The slash
Hey,
in?
slower out
Yeah.
there.
Hawaii too. Maybe even 3. Might lie 3.
That's where I wanted it to end up.
These dead crosses are 2 reds.
Timeout being called by Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Risky because he could take his own out.
What's that?
He could take his own out too and leave us lying one.
Well, this is what you were referring to. We're still in the 9th, Linda, and time is getting tight here.
Time is tight at a time of the game when there's a lot of thinking going on. You can eat up the clock pretty quickly.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. I'd love to make that.
Yeah, me too. I'd love you to make that.
But even if you do this, it's not bad. Right? He'll probably guard it though.
Problem is the guards is the draw that.
Okay, I would say our options are this. We can play a little tap, and I don't know what we're going to get out of it. Still pretty hard to get to.
We could play this. Or we could run the 2 and just try and nut it right there and lie 2 that way. It's a bit risky, obviously.
The other way you would get the 2 is...
The key is you have to score here.
Oh, I know.
So don't play a shot where you're going to gamble and lose your 1.
Well, we probably want to try and get rid of this one anyways, don't we?
Yeah, that's true.
Because he could always draw the edge of the button.
Do we want to try that?
Even if you hit it thick and it comes off that, you might have
Problem
something.
is, right, he just knows this now. It's at 1.
That's true.
And if you get rid of that, then Jamie might have to be able to draw the edge of the button on his last.
Yeah.
What about if we just do this?
Yeah.
Hit and roll there.
Because
and then I could smoke that in on my last one.
Because you don't want to get rid of your shot there.
I really like
try
that.
and hit and roll, just be open.
Yeah, and then you can use it on your next one.
I really like that.
That's good.
That's what you would play. A little quiet tap and move your shot stone back.
Exactly, Vic. And if you could ever angle this right, the one on the button's gone, and then you've got a nice slash opportunity where you can make it 2 ways. You can make it off of this one. You can make it this way. Terry can't guard both.
6?
If we roll it good, if we roll it good, they'll have to protect against me running it in. A little less.
And what they've elected to do is hit and roll off the red stone as we look at it on the left-hand side, top 12.
Yeah, and they're going to throw soft weight. I didn't think they'd do that. They might, if they're going to play this red, it'd go across to the other 2 reds of the New Brunswick that are close together and try to double those off. You need some weight to do that, so I'm not sure what he's just maybe trying to hit it really thin and redirect.
I think he's trying to hit and sit top 12 as a usable rock, actually.
Whoa! Yep. Whoa! Hard! Whoa! Hard! Hard! Whoa!
Shot. It's good, Murph.
Almost over rolled. I think you can see enough. If he hairs by that red, raises the rock it was just thrown, there is a yellow double. A yellow raise onto the 2 reds double, I mean. There it is right there.
We're still guarding.
Yeah, just
high anything. I'm not sure what he says is still there. What are you seeing?
He said there's a slash into the red.
The thing about this guard you have to be careful with is you don't put it in a position where actually the raise guard onto that yellow stone is actually simpler than just trying to make a direct play on the yellow because it is partly covered.
So, dude. Well, if we keep it too far off the line, there's a run back.
Give us a little
using our own rock.
Yeah. Shade left weight, bud.
Final stone for New Brunswick and Terry Odishaw.
Should be good. 1.
Last rock, the hammer belongs to Nova Scotia. Right now they are sitting 1.
Over and off. No.
Don't want the pick.
No.
That's good.
Sit.
Slash is covered.
I think he's drawing to the pin hole.
Good force for New Brunswick, forcing a really tough shot for 2.
All right, let's go. Let's go for T-line.
Yeah.
Yep.
Straight draw.
It is. Again, a tiny area to play with.
So he needs a little bit of the white. Needs a piece of the button to get 2 to tie. He has 1.
Go for T. Line's great.
Stay with her line.
Oh, got girl bit. Whoa.
Bardsley on the left, McDermott on the right. You can hear Pinder needs a little bit of the button. Big draw here. Big scrub here. Pinder out two. Needs to bust for him. Needs the white. Oh, and it won't come over far enough. One. It is for Nova Scotia to get within one. And both teams will be tight on time with one timeout each.
The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Roll Up the Rim to Win. It's time for Tim's.
We quickly want to go over to the game between Northwest Territories, Yukon, and Ontario. That red stone you see just top edge of the 8. That was just thrown by Jamie Cooey. Final stone to come from Glenn Howard here. He's down. Ontario's trailing by 2.
There is a lot of finish to the wing. He just has seen a similar kind of weight shot by Jamie Cooey.
Hard.
With his son Scott Howard and Brent Lang. Wayne Maddock calling line. Get it by the guard. Get across the nose. Push it back. Oh, and now it's a question of whether it rolled too far.
Come on.
1 and 2. That's all it is. And they are going to go one more.
It just went absolutely sideways. Lots of weight, too. Good throw. Yeah, lots of weight, too. Bananas.
Well, it's time now for the M&M Meat Shop's Final End Challenge. And the secret word is kebabs. Right after the game. Go to finalend.ca and enter that secret word kebabs for a chance to win a trip for 2 to see 2013 World Junior Curling Championships in Sochi, Russia. Finalend.ca.
Off the line.
7-6.
Sorry, Grant. Said to get a touch
As we go to 10, and both
really good try.
Teams are in time trouble.
Where the heck's the side?
Line's good.
Top button.
He's back in that Ontario game. Glenn thought he had that made. They don't think they thought they could actually get by the guard and roll as far as he did. And chance for Territories to sneak one out here with the hammer in the extra.
Hard, Jordan, deeper.
New Brunswick does have the last rock, coming home with the lead. Scott Jones.
Real hard. Wayne.
Just a stellar game by Grant Odishaw. Made the tick again and makes life a lot easier.
I wouldn't give him the sliding one.
Nice shot. Halfway.
That zone's in a nice spot, top 4. It's interesting again. Broom has come in as the game has progressed. Less curl, but they seem to be reading it nicely.
Halfway
Easy,
center.
Easy.
We're okay.
Halfway center.
We're okay.
Clean it good, guys. Clean it really good, Jordan.
Oh.
That's good.
Shot, bud. Nice set.
Good clean throw by Scott, 2 in a row, right down that center.
Oof. Just catches the corner.
Take your time, Jordan.
Yeah, that's the reminder. Take your time. Both teams do have one timeout remaining, so that will buy them at least a minute and a half, 90 seconds.
It's going to be interesting if they continue to guard this properly, because if we think of the shots available, well, New Brunswick might have to play a draw, and we've talked about Terry Odishaw liking the big shot, and actually in this game struggling a bit with that draw weight. I'm sure he's hoping he sees something a little more available than a cold draw to the 4-foot.
Sit.
Andy McCann.
Yep.
Just clean. Just clean.
Clean. Easy, easy.
Well, it's time now for the game story, and it's brought to you by M&M Meat Shops. Hundreds of meal ideas, one aisle.
Great start to the game for New Brunswick, and a big lead at the half, and then a nice end in 6. A mistake by Terry Odishaw, heavy in 6. But then the questionable strategy, in my opinion, too many rocks in play, the steal. And now we have lots of rocks in play, attempted by Nova Scotia, and the time clocks may be a little issue as they play a lot of draws.
Oh! You got to clean it, though, guys.
It's okay. We're okay. Just keep your thing down.
It's real tight.
All right, leave it on.
Nice guard thrown up here by Nova Scotia. We talk all the time. It's so tough to get the line. Look at this finish at the end.
Okay, so as the stone comes to an end, 2:32 on the clock for Nova Scotia, and right now 3:10 and counting down. And as you see, both teams have one timeout. So again, that'll buy them 90 seconds. Once again, Andy McCann.
Doubles here.
Got it. Oh, jammed it. And it will sit and spin back to the edge of the 12.
Great throw all the same, though. The scoring area is wide open. No guards out in front. They can get around that corner, but that would leave the entire 4-foot plus.
I'm betting 5.
That's the problem with that guard over curling. It set up an angle.
Find it.
Sometimes that does come from that hurry up. You're playing so many draws, trying to keep rocks in play if you're Nova Scotia. And that means that you tend to rush a little bit, and sometimes that means you give it a little extra, goes a little further, and there's the curl. The chance now, you have to try and bury it, and then you have to hope that if you put the last one in exactly the right place, the Terry shot will be tough.
Line's good. Wait on the room.
Might be getting a hair softer down here.
Lots of room, though.
This late in the evening.
Yep. Lots of room, lots of room. Room! Oh, guys. Wait if you can. Wait if you can.
Hi, Jordan! Jordan!
I got it.
Hi, Jordan!
Go.
Trying to drag it behind and bury it.
Very nice shot.
Top 8.
Attaboy.
Rolling into the center.
Kind of wait.
It's that weight that I threw the last time I did this shot.
You were over here last time.
Yeah. Well, I was here last time. You give me a hair more, I'll throw hack this time. Yeah.
The 6 in, they played this path twice with Terry. One, he did chip out the rock that was in behind cover, and it was the second one where he tried to draw, and he was a little heavy.
Hacked board, yeah.
Hacked it.
Oh, man, that's even more buried than last time.
Yeah. Well, you clip the guard, we were rolling the 8-foot.
True.
Make it.
Hair more.
Knows this spot pretty good.
Terry Odishaw.
Nice. Yep. Lots.
Whoa.
Lots. Yep. Hard. Stay with it. Stay with it.
Great throw.
Sit.
Yep.
Sit. No, Grant. No.
Good shot, Terry.
That rock was
good shot.
Really buried, and he made it look easy.
Impressed with Terry's touch. All 4 games, actually. He's missed a couple draws quite heavy, but those little soft shots, that was bang on.
Hit it. Yep. Lost that way.
Now, there's a murmur in the crowd here, and it's because of this. The fact, Kathy, that it is Quebec sitting 3. Final Stone, Saskatchewan. Scott Manners leading by 2.
A nose hit should do it for him if he's able to do that.
Just clean. You got it, guys. Clean.
He will outcount the 3rd shot.
Right to it. Shot.
Guess who won? Saskatchewan will pick up a 2nd win. Quebec gets one more. Make the final 6-5. And Kathy, you will see Scott Manners against Jamie Cooey when you and Brian bring a Straw 6 Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I said earlier I thought it was a big game, well, more for both teams because they had both lost this afternoon. I thought more for Manners' sake because of the fact under the spotlight of the moment, but he responds tonight to win his 2nd to go to 2-1. There is the time clocks, and now, because they were still in that 90-second window, the clock starts now.
Off it.
Well, with that great shot by Terry Odishaw, there wasn't the thinking time required here. They were so limited to their choices. They were trying to hit and stick.
And he'll spin out the back. And so this for
Scott.
New Brunswick and Terry Odishaw.
What?
Will be, for all intents and purposes, a wide open draw, full. Anywhere in the paint, just put the whole rock in. Nova Scotia's hanging one on the edge. That's your tying point.
Middle of the rock.
Just feel it. Don't have to stay.
They just have to actually peel that one out if they want.
They could too, you're right, because they're up by 1.
You have to hit this. You just have to hit this.
Andy, I'll be bailing early here. You go inside.
Just don't even bother, Scott.
Make it go away for the win.
Play.
Oh.
Terry Odishaw. And he'll hang it on the edge for one more point to win it and win his first. Make the final 8-6 over Nova Scotia and handing Nova Scotia their first loss.
Nice shot.
Good luck, Bardsley. Thanks. Good luck.
Thanks, Grant. Hey, well, good job, Grant. Nice stick.
You lose track.
I thought you just dropped.
So one game remains on the ice in a 6-6 tie. Extra end. Northwest Territories, Yukon, and Ontario. And it is the team from Yellowknife, skipped by Jamie Cooey, playing the Red Stones that does have the last rock.
Ontario did have something set up, and it was the 3rd for the Territories. Tom Nogler, who made some things move around and opened up the front, really improved the situation for Jamie Cooey.
Lens guard a little bit longer than he wanted. Allows Jamie to come around with some soft weight here and get rid of this shot rock. Even if there's a come around by Ontario, it's a long enough guard. There should be a play on it.
Northwest Territories, Yukon, and Cooey coming in with a record of 1-1. Ontario and Glenn Howard out of the Coldwater and District Curling Club winning their first 2.
No.
touch.
Oh, it can't hit it, right? From the stick here.
So here?
Yeah. How do you want to get there?
One of the out turns easier. Out turn might be easier. Good enough.
Time out. Time out.
So they've called a timeout.
They got it.
His team given 1 in the extra end.
Okay. I think you got to leave it partly open, so he's got a chance to.
Got to be high though. But if he's jams it, he's got to. Yeah, so it's got to be here then.
Wow.
Well, yeah, because yeah, that's true.
Right.
It's probably easier with the out turn, over curl.
Okay.
I think so.
Right there. Right there.
I think that in turn's treacherous. I'd rather him throw it.
Okay. So where are we taking for the guards? Like,
I was giving, well,
I got full center line on my last one.
Langer threw his right here.
Right.
I gave him right there.
Okay, well, there you go.
Got a hair less.
Okay.
Because the guard's so long, Glenn thinks it's easier to actually over curl. And you obviously don't want to leave this out in the open. If you leave it half buried when
good
Territories comes down and hits this, any mistake can be a chance to steal.
So they need to put it at an angle where the jam, if Jamie did jam it, would also mean that his shooter rolled away.
Jamie was really trying to stay with his first one. His first one stayed in the open, and then Glenn makes this. You have a run back, really easy short half rock run back. Now that he's rolled that far, you can't use any of those reds.
Less again.
Top 4.
Final stone for
Top 4.
Ontario.
Top 4. Lines
Glenn Howard in his extra end of a 6-6 tie.
Right bend a little.
They thought this would break big time.
At the end, it's got to overcook a little. It's going to overcook.
Boy, they just feathered that card. Stayed there for the longest time. And there is the over curl, maybe a little deeper than they had thought.
Yeah, 2 feet of line was absolutely perfect. You saw how tough that was. He actually had to get by that red corner guard first, and it still over curled a little. The guard's in the peripheral here, and these are the ones that you knock it out, you win, you get savers, so you tend to throw too much weight. And this is, in my mind, what I would do here is take just a little less than draw weight, throw T-line weight, maybe back 4, no more, and let the brushers make it.
Well, remember at the Scotties, Kerry Galusha, of course, is Jamie's sister. And the Northwest Territories and Galusha always had that knack of knocking off some big teams along the way, Team Canada in particular. Now here's her brother Jamie with a chance to knock off one of the favorites.
Clean.
Robert Borden, Brad Toroskowski, Tom Nogler calling line. Well by the guard for the win. There it is. Make the final 10-6 as Ontario will lose their first, and Cooey goes to now 2-1. So Alberta and the 2010 Canadian World Champion Kevin Cooey, the only undefeated team. And then at the bottom, Newfoundland Labrador, PEI, still looking for their first wins. And we will see Jamie Cooey coming off this big win. We'll also see Scott Manor, Saskatchewan, coming off their win against Quebec. That's our big game, Draw 6, when Kathy and Brian Mudrick join you at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time Monday morning with our continuing coverage of the Tim Hortons Brier.
The 2012 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by World Financial Group. Proud to be a sponsor of the Season of Champions. Your dreams, our strategies. By Scotties, proud supporter of women's curling for over 30 years. And by Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Hey, he has reason to smile. Jamie Cooey and the Northwest Territories Yukon from the All Night Curling Club comes up with a key shot.
Oh, we talked about it. It's so easy to overthrow this shot. Adrenaline, big game. You know, you fought the whole game to come down to this one shot. You're staring at that guard. This, even though it's a long guard, it's half buried. It's so easy to put it out in that lane where it's a little straighter. Kept the weight down enough, makes it easy.
To score 4 for the big win over Ontario. The key shot brought to you by Scotty's Facial Tissue, stylish designs for any room. So that's 2 days complete. We'll start day 3, draw 6. It'll be Saskatchewan against Cooey and the team from Yellowknife. Scott Manners from Battleford coming off his win against Quebec. 9:30 a.m. Monday morning with Brian and Kathy. What a day it's been. Always exciting. The Brier here in Saskatoon. And of course, it's all on Canada's sports leader, TSN. Sports Center is next.